Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Good morning. This is our open house Monday, the 2 days before Christmas. God bless you and your family, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. After this, good morning, Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Kate Smith, and God bless America. On this Monday, the 23rd of December, I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, serving you with the best of traction tires, along with some of our great advertisers, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service today. Call 734-6969. Well, here is our little elf. Good morning, Gina.
Well, good morning, sir, and Merry Christmas to you and yours.
You know, we might say before we get started this morning, today and tomorrow are going to be extremely relaxed, and we're not going to go into all the world's problems or anything. We're just going to, primarily today, we've got an open house here, and a lot of people are coming by, and we're going to have them on the air visiting with them about Christmas. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to visit with a lot of people via the telephone and wish them Merry Christmas. And so who do we have this morning as a pledge?
Well, we have our always favorite Mr. Al Butler, and then we have Michael Rogers on for the weather.
Gina, thank you, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. Good morning, Mr. Butler.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas.
And the same right back at you.
And may it be better every day.
Oh, thank you, sir. Go ahead, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, you did a wonderful job, Al. Thank you, and to you and Polly, God's blessings. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. God bless you. And right now it's time for the weather, and brought to you by the world's greatest weatherman, MichaelRogersWeather.com. Merry Christmas, Michael.
Merry Christmas. Got good news for you, and I got bad news for you. Merry Christmas, everybody. What do you want to know about the good news? Well, let's do the good news first. First off is winter, officially. That started on December 21st. The good news about winter is that we continue to gain daylight, and we will do that all the way to June 21st. When we get there, the Magic Valley will receive about 14 hours and change of daylight. Now, what's the other good news? Oh, it gets even better, even better. As we roll through this situation, we are now approximately 86 days from the first day of spring, which will take place this year, or I should say next year, on March 20th. Now, what's the bad news? I didn't have any bad news. It just sounds good when you say you have good news and bad news. Cloudy today, temperatures in the 40s. How about that? A little bit warm for a change. 42 for the high, 27 for the overnight low, and that should be it for today. Merry Christmas to everyone. Enjoy the weather. Fill in whether you got.
Thank you, MichaelRogersWeather.com. Merry Christmas. Good morning, everybody. We appreciate that. We'll take some of your calls in just a moment. I want to say thank you very much to SafeLink Internet. Yes, sir. No contracts required. No credit checks. Unlimited data. High speeds up to 15 megabytes. And, of course, professional installation. The best. Wireless high-speed Internet. #1 choice in Idaho. SafeLink Internet Services. Get a hold of them today. today. Call Shane and the crew. Wonderful, nice people. 677-8000, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas from SafeLink Internet. Also, I know that Kevin and the crew down there at Daryl's Cleaners are wishing you a very Merry Christmas. And don't forget, they've got those prepaid gift cards at Daryl's Cleaners. Get in there today. They make great stocking stuffers. Absolutely good idea right there. And don't forget, they can clean all your rumply-crumplies. And after Christmas is all finished, take your tablecloths and everything in there and get all the stains out of them. They can do the job. Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. As I said, it's going to be very relaxed today and tomorrow also, and it's kind of our Christmas special, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about for Christmas. And one of the things that always makes me feel bad is when I came out here in 1969. And Gina can relate to this, having left home and possibly gone to college and then on to a radio gig someplace. 1969, I came here to Idaho, and my very first Christmas, basically without ever being home, as I lived in Idaho for the first time. Woo! Gina, did you ever have, and do you remember, the first Christmas that you were away from home all by yourself?
The first Christmas that I was away from home, well, I was never really all by myself because I was married both times. And but the first Christmas that it was very hard. It was very hard.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not at home with those you love the most.
You get a little bit more than a little melancholy feeling. You feel like a puppy that got kicked under the porch,
yep.
And everybody's wishing everybody Merry Christmas, and you don't want to be around anybody. You don't want to be the fifth wheel. And then you go to buy a Christmas tree, and you go home, and you go, you start sobbing up and everything, and then you hear a song, I'll be home for Christmas, and you want to throw rocks at the radio. Oh, my.
But see, you had your parents, and I know exactly which Christmas you are talking about, where they had the neighbor or the mailman deliver you a very, very special gift.
How did you know that?
You've told the story before.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you really have ESP.
I actually have a memory.
Yeah. And now that you know all that, tell me what the gift was.
I think some food from home.
Yeah, not only that, but it was a Christmas tree. It was a little plug-in Christmas tree. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't know. The camera's not going to pan that far. I still have that Christmas tree right here in back of me, lit up on the shelf.
You know, I was kind of, not to get off the topic, but to stay kind of on the topic, I've been looking for, it's been passed down through the generations, the angel for the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I cannot find that box. And, of course, that, to me, always represents Christmas, especially at home, because that was the angel that Mom always put on the tree.
Yep.
So, long story short, I finally found a Santa at a thrift store, because I love thrift store shopping. And I found a Santa that is going to take place of the angel.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, I, on the other hand, was lucky enough to have my lovely bride find a beautiful angel for our Christmas tree. We've been looking, and all of a sudden, this one just came and hit us right in the face. And thank God, because it fits perfectly, and it looks great, and we have our Christmas angel.
You know, having a Christmas angel, I think, for me, is so special because it represents, we always had a Christmas angel, and she always sat up on top of the tree.
Yep.
And she had two little lights as her candles that she was holding, and you could move her arms, and she was very pretty. Well, the inside kind of fell apart where, you know, you stick the tree inside of her, and so I can't, for the life of me, I can't find that box.
Oh, my.
That is going to be the hunt for today.
Well, I'm going to do a couple of commercials, and when I come back, I'm going to do a little story. We're going to do stories and poems periodically through the day as we wait for people to come by, but I've got one that's a kind of a special story, and I'll read it here in just a minute. Don't go away.
All right.
Don't forget your Mini-Cash Area Merchants Association. My goodness, shop local, save money. It's crunch time. How about Christmas shopping right here with your friends and neighbors? Support them and their local businesses. You better believe it. Before you take your money out of town, shop locally. And don't forget to get your shopping passport stamped at all the local stores, and check your local newspaper for all the coupons and specials with the Mini-Cash Area Merchants Association. Wonderful, wonderful people. Be sure and stop and save money with them, your local merchants right here in this area. Thank you so much. And By the way, I also want to mention to you the Book Plaza with Colonel Dale. What, last-minute shoppers? Well, they've got over 200,000 books, and they've got religious books. They've got all your greeting cards, crafts, art supplies, children's books. They got everything, along with the Book Plaza being the home of the National Pioneer Hall of Fame. You will not go away empty-handed. Stop in and see Colonel Dale at the Crew at 222 West 11th Street in Burley. The Book Plaza, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Gina's going to be with us quite a bit this morning, and we've got a lot of guests coming by, but I want to read this. The other day, I heard a story on the radio of a woman who was out Christmas shopping with her 2 children. After many hours of looking at row after row of toys and everything else imaginable, and after hours of hearing both her children asking for everything they saw on those many shelves, she finally made it to the elevator with her 2 kids. She was feeling what so many of us feel during the holiday season time of year. Overwhelming pressure to go to every party, every housewarming, taste all the holiday food and treats, getting that perfect gift for every single person on our shopping list, making sure we don't forget anyone on our card list, and the pressure of making sure we respond to everyone who sent us a card. Finally, the elevator doors opened, and there was already a crowd inside the elevator. The lady pushed her way into the elevator and dragged her 2 kids in with her with all their bags and all their stuff. When the doors closed, she couldn't take it anymore, and she stated, "Whoever started this whole Christmas thing should be found, strung up, and shot." From the back of the car of the elevator, everyone heard a quiet, calm voice respond, "Don't worry. We already crucified him." For the rest of the trip down, the elevator was so quiet, you could have heard a pin drop. Don't forget this year to keep the one who started this whole Christmas thing in your every thought, deed, purchase, and word. If we all did it, just think how different this whole world would be. How true, huh, Gina? Boy. Very, very true words. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget, for that last-minute Christmas shopping, it's Valley-Wide Home and Ranch, and they've got everything: boots, gloves, toys, totes, cards, gift cards, and everything. I mean, Valley-Wide Home and Ranch, they're open today, and they're just saying, wow, come on in, last-minute Christmas shoppers. We can help you. And they got all your pet food, your dog and kitty cat food, everything over there at Valley-Wide Home and Ranch. You better believe it. 910 South of 9 in Rupert. Stop in and see them today. Valley-Wide Home and Ranch. Caller, I'll be right with you. Don't go away. And I'm going to talk in a few minutes about what happened last Thursday night with my dear friend Keith Ramsey and Jim McCall. But I want to also remind you, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They open up the doors at 7:30 in the morning. They've got all your heat lamps, your extension cords, all your furnace oil filter, air filters, I should say, furnace air filters, to make sure your furnace can do an efficient job of keeping you nice and warm and toasty. And stop in and see them today for all your electrical needs. It's Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And Keith will be here in a little while and help us celebrate Christmas. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, Merry Christmas, Mr. Bell. How are you?
I am fantabulous. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm sad.
Why?
Well, because this is the first time in I don't know how many years that I have not been able to come to your Christmas show.
Well, and I heard that, and I want to echo the sadness because we miss having you, and I wish there was a change that we could get in your schedule to be here.
Well, I would any other time, but I promised this lady that I would do her house. She actually has family coming in, so. But I wanted to call and wish you and your lovely bride and all of your listeners, we just love y'all.
Well,
great bunch of people. I just want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, Donna, and right back at you for all that you do along with your husband, George, and all the civic projects and everything as we wrap up this year, 2013, and look better and forward to 2014. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thanks, and you guys all have a wonderful time.
No, thank you so much. I've been blessed with some really nice people on this program as friends, and there's one of them right there. Thank you, Donna Mass. Appreciate that very much. Don't forget Sophie's Chatterbox. Oh, my, you better get those ordered today if you're going to have homemade rolls, loaves of bread, cookies, cinnamon rolls, everything. The deadline's today, so they can get them ready for you by Christmas morning. You betcha. Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 E Street in Rupert. Oh, the food is good. The people are so nice. You're going to love it over at Sophie's Chatterbox on the square in Rupert, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Last week on Thursday night, we had, it turned out to be the coldest night of that respective time of the week. I mean, man alive, I would have killed for 40-degree temperatures, but it got way down below 20 degrees. We had our first Christmas caroling, kind of a hayride. And first and foremost, I want to thank Jim McCall with Traveloop Supply. He and his wife brought over the trailer all decorated with straw on the back and lights and everything. And then I want to thank Ken Mort and his family for bringing the sound system and all the microphones so we could sing and carol as we went down the street. And then I want to thank Keith and Bev Ramsey, and I want to thank Rita Ramsey, and I want to thank Mary Scott. Oh, my goodness. And Lorna Arbogast, just God bless everybody. Deanne, myself, excuse me for choking, getting a little bit of a cold. But we had our Christmas caroling, and we went around Burley, and it was just really nice. Was it cold? Doggone right. Was it worth it? Absolutely. We had a wonderful time, and our thanks were to everybody that helped us. Let's Ride, Smith's Food King, along with Ramsey's, and also Travelube Supply. Thank you so much for all your help. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline so I can cough. Gina, you say something real quick so I can take a drink of water, would you?
Okay, sure, not a problem. But I noticed that Mr. Obama right behind you has actually got his Christmas hat on.
Yes, he does. I'm trying to...
He looks very festive.
I'm trying to make him look a little better than he normally does. Anything might help.
Anything might help.
Yeah.
We've got a phone call in the air for you.
All right. Thank you, Gina. I appreciate it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zed. Thanks for the hayride Thursday night. It was great fun.
Well, you know something, Mary? It wouldn't have been any good at all had you and the rest of the folks not showed up. And thank you. God blessings to you. And Mary just took that microphone and sang her heart out. Thank you so much.
Well, it was fun. I enjoyed it, and the people enjoyed it. They would put their hands out and wave at us. We had a great time.
Well, we did, and we're going to do it again next year. We'll do it again next year, and we'll pray for a little better, warmer weather. How's that?
I hope so.
All right.
Anyhow, Merry Christmas to you and your lovely wife and to Gina.
Well, thank you very much, Mary. God bless you.
One tiny thing. Can I wish Joe a very happy birthday?
I understand his birthday was this past Saturday. Is that right?
Correct.
And he turned 88 years young?
88 years young.
Oh, my goodness. God's blessing. You know what? That's worth a special birthday. We'll take care of it right now, Mary. Thank you very much for your call.
Merry Christmas. God bless.
All right.
Bye.
Gina, that's worth a special birthday tune right here. The day, a couple of days after his birthday, he was, I think, 88 on Saturday. Let's go ahead and give Joe Taylor the special birthday song, shall we?
We shall.
All right. Happy birthday, Joe Taylor, great real estate agent and a doggone nice guy. 88 years young, his birthday. Happy birthday, Joe. Many, many more.
It's always fun to celebrate birthdays, which, by the way, and I know we may or may not know, we won't be on the air on that day. My daughter's birthday is coming up at the end of next week. It'll be on, actually, the end of this week. It'll be on Saturday. She'll be the official 21.
Oh, Mom. Are you serious?
Yes. My oldest will be 21 on Saturday.
Now, give us an honest feeling about how that makes you feel.
Old.
Yeah, well...
honestly, I'm not ready for it. Of course, I had her when I was 20, So it just, I'm getting old, and so she is entering the world of adulthood officially.
Oh, my.
And I feel old. I'm not ready to have a 21-year-old.
Well, and then wait, kiddo, until you get a call and they say your 5th grandchild is on the way any day.
I'm not ready for that one. I think I might keel over with more gray hair.
Jake and Shanna are expecting, honestly, it could be today, it could be this morning, it could be this afternoon. They're my 5th grandchild, their 2nd child, any day. Yeah, that's worth an hallelujah. How about it? Thank you. All right, Gina, thank you. Caller, go ahead, please.
This one?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. I don't see a green Obama head behind you.
Yeah, you do. Hold on. I'm going to grab him. I got to get him. His hair's starting to get all over the place. See, I'm going to hold it on camera. Whoop, wait a minute. I'm going the wrong way. I got to get camera over here, and I got to get back in camera range. There you go. Look at it. See? There he is.
I can't look at you and talk at the same time. I'm using Skype here.
Well, he is getting all kinds of, Obama's getting all kinds of green hair all over him, and I got him in a special tray up here so he doesn't get the sprouts all over everything else. He is just out of camera range, but he's there, my friend. Alias, God bless you, man, and we thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Oh, speaking of Merry Christmas wishes, don't forget Jimmy at People's Quality Packing. Oh, I tell you, Jimmy's a good old boy. He's one of the good old boys, and he wants to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. For all your custom-cut meats and wrap, call Jimmy at 436-4557. And don't forget AMI, 719 Overland in Burley. Look for the big 28-foot wrench over the door. Go nuts over their bolts. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. And Certified Pest Control. Get rid of your pests. Call them at 312-5856. 312-5856. Certified Pest Control. And along with the birthday boy, Joe Taylor with Carrie and Adams Realty, buying and selling real estate. One call does it all. Call Joe, wish him a happy birthday and a Merry Christmas. 678-9400. Very nice people wishing you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas. You know, it is time for Travelube Supply. Well, look who just walked in. Some of our dearest friends. We're going to get them on the air momentarily. Jimmy and Frida Flowers are here. And it's time for Travelube Supply at 1050 West, 203 South of Heyburn to come on the air and tell you all about the pipe insulation tape, pipe wrap insulation, and the pink bubble ropes. I saw one of those pink bubble ropes the other day. And, of course, all your fuel filters, everything at Travelube Supply, 1050 West, 203 South of Heyburn. God bless. They wish you a very Merry Christmas. And now it's time for the Pacific Steel Capital Press Ag Minute. Pacific Steel Recycling, of course, 2 locations at 320 West Main in Burley and 1987 Highland Avenue East in Twin Falls. Here now, the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly. The Food and Drug Administration said it will revise sweeping new food safety rules proposed earlier this year after farmers complained the rules could hurt business. Michael Taylor, FDA's Commissioner for Foods, said the agency wants to make sure the rules are practical for farmers who have to abide by them. The rules proposed in January would require farmers to take new precautions against contamination, making sure workers' hands are washed, irrigation water is clean, and that animals stay out of fields, among other precautions. Food manufacturers would also have to submit food safety plans to the government to show that they are keeping their operations clean. Taylor said the agency's thinking has evolved after talking to the farmers. For the Capital Press Ag Minute, this is Brandon Tenner.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
Don't forget our friends for all your recycling needs at Pacific Steel and Recycling, 320 West Main in Burley and 1987 Highland Avenue East in Twin Falls. And they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. I know this gentleman that's sitting here. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
How are you?
I'm just fit as a fiddle because I'm so high-strung.
Well, fit as your fiddle because you're so high-strung. I love that. You always have something for us, don't you?
You know, I try.
Oh, God bless you. Jimmy is into woodworking, and for those of you that don't know it, he makes, what do you want to call them? Not canes, but what do you...
Just walking sticks.
Walking sticks. And this one is the all-time best, I think. On the top, you've got Santa Claus, and then you've got Merry Christmas. What else have you got on there? there? Oh, you got a reindeer down below it, and Rudolph, and then you've got a bell, and then it says on Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, on Vixen. You know, you've got everything on that walking stick. Now, how long did it take you to make that?
Yeah, I done it when my brother-in-law was in the hospital, and it took about 4 weeks, I guess. They let me do it in the waiting room over a garbage basket.
You're kidding me.
No,
you did that in a hospital waiting room?
Yes.
Now, all of your tools to make all these different canes and everything, does it take quite a few different tools?
I do most of it with a sheetrock knife.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, my. Now, where'd you learn how to do this?
Yeah, just doing it.
Self-taught?
More or less, and looking at other people's work.
Really? Now, you do a lot of wood trimming and carving with a bunch of people every week, don't you?
We're getting few in numbers. And if there's people out there that like to do that, every Tuesday morning at the senior center there in Burley, a group of us get together and do a little carving.
Really?
We used to have about 12 or 13. Now we're down to about 3 or 4.
It's amazing the talent that you have. Now, I've asked you this question before. Caller, I'll be right with you, but I want to ask you this question. How do you know that the wood that you're choosing is going to last?
You don't. You try to put a finish on it that will help prolong its life, but you don't know. Get a piece of ironwood, it'll last a while.
Okay. And then the paint. I mean, does it take a special kind of paint that's really going to stand up on that cane?
I usually put whatever's on sale.
Love you, Jimmy. Well, listen, to you and Frida, you're such dear friends. I really appreciate you running by. And what else have you got for me?
Nothing. Just wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. And can I put in a plug for what's been on the air the last few days?
Yeah, please.
I'm you probably know, a strong Duck Dynasty fan.
Yes.
And with what happened to Cracker Barrel and A&E, I like to say we won.
And we're going to, I'll tell you what, we're going to really hit this story hard. I'm in the process of trying to get one of the Duck Dynasty family on the air. And because they do come up here occasionally. And
there's some coming up.
Duck hunting in Hagerman, as a matter of fact.
Right, but Idaho...
they're going to be at the Idaho Center,
right,
I believe.
Right, yeah, they've been invited and they're coming.
Yeah, and we're going to try to get them on the air just for a brief little visitation, but I want to say that right is going to prevail in this case.
Yes, and it's so good because I thought it was a dying cause, the Christian way of life and their values, and even if you're not a Christian, they're still right and wrong.
But, you know, people finally stood up over this, and the numbers were heard, whether it was through the Cracker Barrel restaurants or whether it was through Christians around the globe that said, you know, enough is enough. The man's got a right to his beliefs. We as Christians have a right to our beliefs, and you're not going to push us over the cliff.
Yeah, they said there was, in the first 24 hours, there was several 100,000 more backed filled than there was backed Obamacare.
Yeah, and that's why I said on this program for a long time, I'm not going to back up. I mean, they can come after me if they want to, but we're not going to back up and change our value system.
No, I'll be right there getting harassed with you because we're too much alike thinkers.
All right, Jimmy, and thank you for all your sending us all these different stories and everything. As a matter of fact, I've got one here in just a few minutes that you sent me not too long ago for Christmas, so thank you very much for everything.
Thank you, my friend, and may God bless.
He already has. Now, you're not leaving until you have some of the goodies out in the other room.
I will go check them out.
There you go. Jimmy Flowers and his lovely wife, Frida, we thank them so much for being here. And we've got a lot of time for everybody to give us a call. We'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. 436-2244. Caller, I'll be right there with you. Don't go away. By the way, if you stapled your fingers together, getting all the light cords ready on the roof for Santa Claus, Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center is there. Minor emergencies, major care. You slipped off the ladder when you were trying to put the great big snowman on the front door? Well, don't worry. Minor emergency, major care, Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 382 North Overland in Burley. Always there for you. I'm telling you, quality care, save money. Monday through Saturday, they're open 9 to 9, Sundays 1 to 7. I just talked to Kyle just the other day, and he wants to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 382 North Overland in Burley. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hi there.
Hi, I just called to wish you and Deanne and Gina and everybody else in the family a very Merry Christmas.
Well, we appreciate that.
It's become a Christmas tradition.
Well, it has become a Christmas tradition, and Linda, thank you. And I want to just tell everybody that at 9:30 this morning, Linda's going to be our feature Christmas Carol of the Day, and that's brought by Pickett Equipment Company. Linda, thank you, and we're looking forward to listening to your beautiful voice at 9:30 this morning.
All right. Thank you, Zeb.
God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Very, very nice lady, and she's going to be with us a little bit later on this morning. While we have a chance, and Pastor Alex Lissau has now come into the studio this morning, and Pastor, if you want to take the hot seat right there, feel free to do so, and we'll get you on the air in just a moment. This story was just sent to me a couple of days ago, and I just want to read this. I thought this was really appropriate for Christmas time. The man came home from work late in the week before Christmas, tired and irritated, to find his 5-year-old son waiting for him at the front door. "Daddy, may I ask you a question?" he said. "Yep, sure, what is it?" replied the father. "Daddy, how much do you earn in an hour?" And the father said, "That's none of your business. Why do you ask such a thing?" "I just need to know. Please tell me, how much do you make an hour?" pleaded the little boy. "Well, if you must know, I make $25 an hour," answered his father. "Oh," the boy replied with his head down. "Daddy, may I please borrow $10? The father became furious. "If the only reason you ask that is so you can borrow some money to buy a silly toy for Christmas or some other nonsense, then you march yourself straight to your room and go to bed. Think about why you're being so selfish. I don't work hard every day for such childish frivolities." The little boy went to his room and shut the door. The father sat down and started to get even angrier about his boy's questions. How dare he ask such questions about how to get some money? After about an hour or so, the father calmed down and started to think, well, maybe there was something he really needed to buy with that $10, and he really didn't ask for the money very often. So the man went to the door of his son's room and opened the door, and he said, "Are you asleep, son?" The boy said, "No, Daddy, I'm awake." "Well, I've been thinking maybe I was too hard on you earlier," said the father. "It's been a long day, and I took out some aggravation on you. Here's the $10 you asked for." The little boy sat up straight in bed, smiling. "Oh, thank you, Dad," he cried. Then he reached under his pillow. He pulled out some crumpled up notes of money. The father saw the boy already had some money, and he started to get angry again. The little boy slowly counted out his money and then looked up at his father with large brown eyes, and he says, "Why do you want more money if you already have some?" the father yelled at him. "Because I didn't have enough. But now I do," the little boy replied. "Daddy, I've got $25 right now. Can I buy an hour of your time? Please come home early on Christmas Eve so I can have dinner with you." The father was crushed. He put his arms around his little son, and he begged for forgiveness. This is just a short reminder of all of us that work so hard in life that we should not let time slip through our fingers without having spent some time with those who really, really matter to us, those close to our hearts. Remember to share that $25 worth of time with someone you love. Merry Christmas. Good morning, Pastor Alex. How are you?
Good morning. Merry Christmas.
And it is, my friend. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
This has become kind of a annual trek.
It has.
And, you know, you come from a very different background, being from a European descent, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And
Russian.
Tell us a little bit about Christmas over in that area as compared to Christmas here in the United States.
Well, Christmas is, you know, for us it was predominantly a religious experience and a religious holiday, and it always included a lot of time with church and a lot of time with family, and presents and shopping, of course, were things that you did some of, obviously, but it didn't occupy or dominate the focus at all. In fact, if you got one present, you were pretty happy, and then of course if you had all your family gathered together and they each gave you a present, then you had more than one present, and that was even more exciting. But Christmas to me always was around surrounded family gatherings, lots of food. Probably one of the reasons I've always been what you would call a heavyweight, and lots of food. Great kinds of stuff. I mean, pies and cakes and meats of all kinds, and lots of family singing and storytelling. And my dad used to tell a story about how on Christmas Eve he was getting ready to go to church, and he was really deeply in love with a young woman, and he wanted to impress her, and he had what they called a troika, which is a snow sled wagon with 3 horses, and they're parallel, all next to each other, not one behind each other. And so, and he said that, he went and picked up this young lady, and he was so happy and so excited, and they were going to go to church, and he was all decked out in his fancy clothes. He had this ermine white fur, or collared coat on, and she was dressed out to the nines, and on the way he noticed that she was kind of cold, and so he said, and of course, in those days, because he was born in 1896, so in the early 1900s, you're still using you're out in fields, that kind of thing. There's no highways and no lights. You got some lights on your sled, but that's about it. And so he came into this little tiny hamlet of the town just outside of where they had their farm, and the bakery there was open, and he pulled over, and he got the young lady out, and they went into the bakery, and so they were going to pick something that was really fresh out of the oven, nice and hot, and a cup of some rum something or other, to warm the body up, and he's standing there next to her, and he's looking in this glass, and he's pointing at things, and she's looking at him, and all of a sudden he said this, he was overcome with this need to sneeze.
Oh, no.
And he was trying to, and next thing you know, he couldn't help it, and he couldn't get his hand up fast enough because he wanted to get his glove off. And he sneezed, and guess what happened to the glass?
Oh.
And so he had to take his glove off and made it even worse by trying to wipe it off. And so he says that's my most memorable Christmas Eve on the way to church. He says, I spent the whole time praying for God to help me through this because he said he'd probably never see the girl again. And frankly, he didn't. So,
real quick though, but food and family at various Christmases in the olden times, if you will, meant more than getting gifts, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it did. It was, like I said, it surrounded church and faith and religion. I mean, it was our whole process, the whole thing was set up. I remember as a child, the dining room table like you have out here in your area, but this thing for some reason was like 20 feet long with all of the different pieces in it, and by the time we got ready to go to church on Christmas Eve, there wasn't an inch on that table that didn't have something on it.
Wow.
A plate of something, and a lot of things where people were bringing it gifts because they were all gathering together to go to church together. Generally speaking, our church was right there in the neighborhood where we lived, and because the ethnic groups here in America, and especially in California when I was growing up, kind of lived around the church. That was their practice. And I remember you'd go to church, and it was always at 11 o'clock at night, and you would celebrate through, and then Christmas morning, of course, hits at 12:01 a.m., and everybody's rejoicing and singing songs, and then and a lot of people just walked because it wasn't that far to the church.
Right.
And then we would walk back, and of course in California we didn't have any snow, but thinking about my dad's stories about always walking back or riding in your sled back in the snow, and then come to the house and you walk in and everything's like, Christmas lights like you have here, but candles and lights everywhere, and everything's draped in beautiful colors, red and green and white, and the table covered with all these things, and family standing around, and they're talking and laughing, and you never saw a tear, you never heard any complaints, you didn't hear about the troubles of the day because people were too busy rejoicing in what they had in Christ, and the priest, the pastor would show up, and he would join in the celebration, and as I've gotten older over the years, the things that mean the most to me are listening to the Christmas carols and remembering those days, remembering time with friends, good friends, being together with good friends, and having a time of laughter and joy, and those are the great things, because that's what Christ is all about. He's about us.
I want to ask you another question right after we do our weather forecast with Michael Rogers in regards to, you mentioned the service late at night at midnight, and I want to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment.
Sure.
Don't forget Curtis Quality's Electronics at 1730 Kimberly Road in Twin Falls. Man, for the last-minute shoppers like me, they've got the answers. They've got great big special sale prices on all the great televisions, Sony, Samsung, LG, and more. And they're all backed up by their great local service and delivery. Please stop in and see my friends. You're going to find what you're looking for at Quality's Electronics, and they're located at 1730 Kimberly Road in Twin Falls. Here now, Michael Rogers weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got good news and I got bad news. What do you want first? One's good news, no problem. Here we are in winter. The good news is about winter, number one, we continue to gain daylight all the way to June 21st. When we get there, the Magic Valley will get about 14 hours and change, but we're not there yet. The other good news is that we got about close to about 86 days before spring. Spring will take place on March 20th. Now, what's the bad news? I don't have any. I thought I'd share some good news with you. So there you go. Cloud today, 42 for the high, right around 27, 28 for the overnight low, and enjoy the holidays and enjoy the weather. That's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you this hour by Quality's Electronics, and of course, great big Christmas sale going on. Hurry in today at Quality's Electronics, 1730 Kimberly Road in Twin Falls. Merry Christmas, everybody, and here we are as part of our Christmas special this morning, and of course, we do this every year. We have an open house. Pastor Alex Lissau with the Trinity Lutheran Church over in Eden is here with us right now. I didn't see your wife walk in. Is she here?
Oh, yeah.
She's here?
She's enjoying the ladies.
All right. Well, now, let me ask you this. You said late at night, the services, and we've really got away from the late at night service, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. And
is there a reason that we can't have a service late at night?
Well, no, I don't think there's any reason other than the fact that people are not necessarily predisposed to it anymore. You know, the concern with children being, having to bring out late at night, and some of them still asleep. You don't want to get them out of bed to take them, and which is considerably different than when I was growing up, because when I was growing up, you went to bed, they put you to bed at 6 o'clock. And even if you were, 8, 10, 12 years old, you went to bed at 6 o'clock or so after a light supper, and you tried to get a couple of hours nap because they were going to be waking you up. You got dressed up, fancy dressed up, and really, cleaned up and everything, and you went out.
I like that.
And as a family, you traveled to the church.
I like that.
And people greeted you as you went in, and the time of rejoicing was great at that particular time. And most of the time, as we will have this Tuesday night, we had a candlelight service, and we would sing together and rejoice together, and it was a tradition. And then when you came home, that's usually when everybody gathered together and had something to eat. About 2 o'clock in the morning, you'd finally get to bed.
Holy cow! Yeah. I think it's a great idea to really welcome in Christmas that way.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and they used to do the same for Easter as well. They would on the eve before Easter. They would
really.
Yeah.
Have we got away, in your opinion, from family traditions in this country?
Well, I think we have, because of just simply the fact that our society has moved so far forward, the technologies of things that we deal with, and so on. And I don't think that we're so separated anymore. Barbara and I are going to leave right after worship on Wednesday on Christmas Day and drive to California, because it'll be the first time, and I was trying to calculate the exact dates, but it's been the first time, at least in about 6 years, that we have had a chance to be able to be with 3/4 of our family.
Really?
And we would have all of them there if it wasn't for some surgery that was taking place in one part of took place. But that's and to me that's just a joyous thing to be able to have all, generally speaking, all but 2 of my grandkids with us there, all at the same time, all in the same place, and the littlest ones, which are just from 1 year old up to 6, and then the older ones that are in their teens, and of course the grandson that's here with us, getting ready to go in the Marine Corps, who just turned 22. So, it's a great thing. A family to me is, being a pastor, I haven't been around family much for about 15 years.
Yeah.
So,
last time I had a chance to go home, both my parents are gone now, but the last time I had a chance to go home was 21 years ago. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And we got Jake and Toby and Deanna and I, we all wrapped up and hit the airplane and went back there and spent Christmas. And it's a memory that I won't forget for a long, long time, if ever. And it's unfortunate, but now with the passing of my parents and everything, and basically the family dissolved, now we've got to concentrate on Christmases here.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I also, I'm kind of at that stage in my life, at that age in my life, that I keep saying to myself, when are the kids going to start coming here?
Yeah.
Grandpa is 68 years old. It's about time. It's about time those young punks got up and got in their cars and filled their families in them and brought them out here, come out here for Christmas. But, again, the schools and everything else and teachers and working, and my son-in-law is also pastor, so he's, holidays and Christmas time and holy days of the church are days that we just don't really have the opportunity to leave.
Absolutely. We're going to talk more with Pastor Alex Lissow in just a moment, but don't forget Mad River Laser at 700 South Oneida Street in Rupert. They're going to be moving right after the first of the year, right to the square in downtown Rupert. Man, it's going to be fantastic. For anything you need custom made, whether it's your T-shirts, caps, whatever, custom pins, and don't forget last-minute shoppers, they've got, of course, the buck knives, and they can custom engrave those buck knives for Dad. Wonderful people. Nicole and the rest of the crew serving you at Mad River Laser, 700 South Oneida Street in Rupert. You stop in and see them today. We've got a Christmas service planned. We got more people coming in. Keith Ramsey's here in just a few minutes. We're going to have him singing with us. We've got a Christmas series service planned for tomorrow evening. Tell us a little bit about this. Did you put a lot of personal effort into this as far as trying to do things the old-fashioned way?
Well, you try to do things as best you can that is going to fit the needs and desires and hearts of the people that are members of your congregation. We have, we've got them from the littlest children, and I was kind of interesting because this last Sunday, yesterday, we had this our Christmas program, Sunday school Christmas program, and I sat back and I was starting to count through, and I counted over 20 children, which really is amazing to me because I hadn't really, you don't pay attention to it. You see little groups here and there, and you're going between up and down the hallway, and all of a sudden, when they were all together in one place singing, and then the teenagers off to one side, and they did their part, and I thought to myself, we have another generation coming. We got a joy for that, But we have young people that we need to be concerned and interested in how we put together a worship service that is meaningful for them, that is understandable to them, that they can experience they can experience the Word of God in a way that is relevant to their current lives, because they lived a lot different lives in their day than we did in ours when they were their age. So. Yeah. I always do. I always put my heart into trying to put together a worship service that is meaningful for everyone. And this particular Tuesday night, we're going to do a program that incorporates a special, it's almost an entire series of singing. The worship service itself starts with prayer and song, and goes, the whole thing is song, and the only part that will be spoken word is when I give a short message on the gospel. But other than that, it'll be a period of singing with people involved and hymns and everything else, and just rejoicing. And then on Sunday, of course, on Wednesday,
Force I have it.
Brain is gone, yeah.
Force I have it.
But on Wednesday, of course, we'll have more of a traditional service, again, with a lot of Christmas songs, but with communion and the Lord's table.
We received a Christmas card the other day, and in the Christmas card was a simple little note, and I thought this note really summed it up for us, and I'm going to do this before we do our last commercial for this hour. In this note, it said, always love your family, keep faith in God and yourself, and help other people who are less fortunate than you are. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and love. Be yourself, be honest, do your best, treat people with respect, and follow your dreams. That kind of sums up life, doesn't it?
It sure does.
I love that.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas to you and your lovely wife, and we're looking forward next hour. If you have the time to stay with us, I'd like you to read a Christmas story from Luke.
I'll certainly do that.
I've got to do some commercial payments right here, and then we'll take some more calls. If people are waiting on the line, don't forget, give us a call. It's our Christmas show, our annual open house at Zeb at the Ranch for today. Don't forget, for the best in traction tires for your wintertime driving, it's all there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. And, of course, winter traction tires, all the tread designs, all the different tires that are pinned for studs, they've got them all for your safe driving, for your cars, your SUVs, and, of course, anything that is a four-wheeled wonder, they've got the tires for. Batteries, all your battery needs. They've got snow wheels, tire chains, best in brake value service, front-end alignments, you name it, they've got it for you. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family over in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and, of course, Randy on Overland and Burley, as they wish you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas. I want to ask you something real quick, and I don't want to end the hour on a negative note because I think maybe it'll turn out positive. But, we saw in the paper the other day a person that I really feel sorry for. His name is Chaz Stevens from Tallahassee, Florida, and he was so against the nativity scene that he tried to put up a Festivus pole with beer cans in his way to denigrate the nativity scene. And the people that put up the nativity scene said they were going to pray for them, and he said, you know what I'm praying for next year? I'm going to pray that they get rid of that thing talking about the nativity scene. And I just think a lot of us, and you can tell by the belligerent look on his face, that this man absolutely hates Christ, hates Christmas, hates anything to do with Christians. And I think we all should pray for him to see if we can't have a little change in his personality. What do you think?
I agree. What's the deal? What is the deal? If you don't want to participate, if you don't like it, then don't pay attention to it.
But why try to denigrate it?
Why denigrate it? Why put other people down who find great peace and comfort and joy in it? What's the deal? And I don't know.
But we're seeing just a little bit. I'll jump off course here a little bit this morning. But we're also seeing good prevail over evil with the Duck Dynasty folks, Phil Robertson,
and that's a wonderful thing.
Oh, it makes me feel good.
I'm really happy that his children have stood up for him. He had a rough life. Any of us that have come to any point of understanding of what it means to have redemption in Christ, most of us have stepped on our own toes so many times we don't have any toenails left.
That's right.
And I think that he admits his background, he admits that his weakness, but he admits also that he was redeemed in Christ, and he is who he is because of Jesus Christ now, and nobody's going to tell him that he can't worship his God.
And what I like about this whole story is that the evil pervertedness that was trying to take over and squash him like a bug, they're finding out what the windshield feels like right now.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, and that's great. That's wonderful. I've said this to you before, Zeb, and we've talked about it a little bit in church as well. And that is, a lot of people out there who like to denigrate and beat up everybody else, they're cowards.
That's right.
And if we stand up and say enough is enough, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to do this. It'll just take a little bit of time before they all back off.
Just look at Cracker Barrel restaurants this morning. They backed off on the whole situation.
Yeah.
Because people spoke up.
That's what we need to do.
We'll be back with much more of our Christmas show this next hour. Zeb at the Ranch, thank you for all your calls. Thank you for all the letters, emails, etc. And we'll have much more. Right now, we're going to take a little break. Be back in 6. Zeb at the Ranch. Merry Christmas. Over radio. Turn it on and put those yellow hooks Silverhead, just put it all on. You should be able to hear it. I don't have any put the headsets in. Not those. The other way. There, you should be able to hear. Let me know if you hear something quick, because I got to get on the air here. Hear something? You hear? Okay. We're back, Gina. I was just trying to instruct all of our friends on getting the headsets on and all set to go for this hour. Merry Christmas. God bless everybody. Oh, man, it is Merry Christmas. And I've got two dear friends here in the studio. A lot of people out in the other room. Thank you so much. Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all the great 7 locations, along with some of our great advertisers that include Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley, and our friends at Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're all at Georgia Stable. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and we praise them. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at Georgia Stable. Western Waste.
Always at your disposal, and that's true, taking care of all your garbage. Don't forget, if you need a dumpster to clean out the basement or the garage or whatever, they've got dumpsters in various sizes to get the job done for you. Fill it up, they'll come get it. Western Waste Services, and get on their route service, and they'll take care of your garbage problems. Always at your disposal. Wonderful people. Western Waste Services, 734-6969, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. I just talked to this gentleman the other day, Joel Heward, over at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, and this man, so busy, I said, please try to come by this morning if you can for our open house. And he assured me that if he had just a few moments to break away, he would. Joel Heward and his staff, always serving you with the highest ethical standards and unquestioned integrity. Please contact them today. We all need to get the information on the pre-planning of funerals to help alleviate a lot of the stress and worry for our families. Call them at 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward and his staff at 710 6th Street in Rupert, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Merry Christmas, Zeb. You know, I was going to try and go on your hayride with you, and I tried to get a hold of you to see if you had a crane to get me on.
Well, I'll tell you something. God's blessings to you for your kind thoughts, and I'm going to be talking to Keith Ramsey here in just a few minutes. That was so helpful to us in that hayride. But to say the least, it was a little chilly, but we had a wonderful time, even though our noses got a little frozen, but we sure would have liked to have you there.
Well, I would have liked to have been there. I'll put that down for next year. Maybe I'll be able to do it.
All right, Jerry. And to you and your wife and your family, God's blessings and a very Merry Christmas to you.
Okay, I have a question if you don't mind.
No, go ahead, sir.
When are you going in the hospital so we got that to plan on?
I'm going in. I'm leaving hopefully on Sunday, January 5th, and they're going to operate on the 7th.
Now, how long are you going to be in?
That is something that's a $64,000 question right now. I don't know. That I don't know.
Okay. We'll allow you 2 days.
I think it's going to be a little longer than that, but I wish you were right. I wish you were right. God bless you, Jerry, and thank you so much.
May the Lord bless you and your whole audience. You have a wonderful day. Keep on doing what you're doing because it's great.
All right, sir. And I do appreciate it, Jerry. You're always a real valued part of this program. Thank you so much. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. One of the nice people right there, Jerry Voss, and he does so much for the community. We have two gentlemen sitting at the microphone right now, and, of course, Alex Lissau is going to be back with us on the air here in a little bit. But, Keith Ramsey, good morning. How are you this morning?
Yes, good morning, Zeb. How are you?
I need you to push that a little closer to you, if you would. And then also, sitting to his right is a homeless person that just walked by carrying a bunch of packages. Good morning, George Mass.
Good morning. I come to that place, too, because there's a lot of goodies in there on that table.
And you've already had quite a few, haven't you?
Not yet, but that's where this fat boy's headed.
It was like Alex said, as soon as we had the break coming up at the top of the hour, I've never seen him leave the pulpit that fast at church. He said, where's those cinnamon rolls? And he looked like a track star in the Olympics, man. He was gone.
Well, he's been all around there, and then just a little while ago, all you see is the backside. He was clearing your refrigerator in there.
Clear into the refrigerator, right? Keith, first and foremost this morning, this has become a tradition with you being here on this program.
You know, I've been here many years. Somebody asked me how many, and I think this has got to be at least 2 handfuls.
Maybe I'll have you tip that up just a little bit. There you go. I know that we started doing this open house about 10 years ago, and I think you've been here for every one of them.
I've been here for many of them, and it's been a great way to celebrate Christmas time.
We had the hayride, if you will, the Christmas Carol hayride last Thursday night, and in your own words, you might tell everybody how cold it was.
Well, in the words of a sage, it was colder than a tin toilet in the Yukon. It was cold outside, but you know what? It was wonderful to have my beautiful, lovely wife sitting next to me, and those little kids across the way were so cute and so bundled up.
Yeah.
And I will have to say that it was nonstop music for over an hour.
We sang to the best of our ability, which some people might question what the ability was, but we did our very best.
We used all of our ability.
Yes, we did. But it was a lot of fun, even though it was the coldest night that we've had in the last, 2 or 3 weeks at least.
It was, but you know what? It was such a great time, and I love to see the response on people's faces when something just clear out of the ordinary. You see this hay wagon coming down through the middle of town, and all the beautiful lights that were strung on and so forth.
Oh, Jim McCall at Travel Loop did a wonderful job.
Totally over the top.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And to see, I can still see that couple's face as they were standing at the kitchen window and they looked out, and you'd have liked to thought Santa just parked the sleigh right in the middle of the road.
Wasn't
they
that
were just
something?
like little kids.
Yeah, it was really a joy to me. And we went by the hospital and everywhere else, and instead of having rocks thrown at us, we had smiles thrown at us, and that was great.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. And I want to say thanks to Smith's Food King again. We had tons of cookies and hot chocolate, and we had Travel Loop Supply with Jim McCall, and we had Ramsey Heating and Electric, and we had Let's Ride with Nick all help us out. It was just a really fun time.
It was great, and I hope people will put that on the calendars for next year,
I hope
because
so,
it is
too.
it is a fun experience
Hope
to
so,
go out
too.
and bring joy to other people.
We're going to get back with you about a Christmas story in just a minute. George, thank you. And you know what I'm talking about. You saved my bacon for this year, 2014.
And you know I won't remind you of it either.
Not maybe in this lifetime, I'm sure, but no, thank you very much for all your help and all you do for the Rupert POW MIA. Well, look, we got more people walking in, and good morning. More kids are coming in. My gosh, we got the whole family. We've got a gentleman that's known as Old Pinky. He's going to be on the air with us in just a little bit. Stand by. George, Merry Christmas to you for everything you do.
Merry Christmas. And Zeb, I'd like to enlighten you on what Santa Claus himself did last night.
Oh.
We had a few families, and the elf said, well, let's go to the hospital. So we went to Rupert Hospital and got permission to go around and visit the patients, or Santa did. And one of them was a very good friend of mine. His wife was having surgery on her knees.
Oh, my.
Next room, there's a little lady sitting there. I was probably 55. Talked to her, and she says, can I get a picture with Santa? And so the nurse come in and got a picture, and she says, she says, this is the first time in over 50 years I had a picture with Santa.
Oh.
And I asked her, I said, you going to make it home for Christmas? She says, no, I'll be in rehab. So,
oh, my.
So it's, I enjoy life, and it's, I'm very blessed to do what I can do. And the rewards for that is just astronomical.
Well, let me just tell you something, how proud I am to have you as a friend and all that you do. And it's a great thing for me to be able to support some of your ventures. I appreciate it.
Well, Zeb, I've told this time and time again, it's I get an idea and the community makes it happen.
Well, George Mass, God bless you and your lovely... I feel sorry Donna couldn't be here this morning.
Yeah, she's one of us has got to work. That's what your wife said this morning. So.
There you go. Well, thank you, George. God bless you. Thank you for being here, as always.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, buddy. Now, go hit the trays again with all the food.
I am. I'm going to just tell stories in there while I'm eating.
Okay, good. You're good at that.
All right, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. God bless you. Keith Ramsey, you've got a little story about a Christmas orange. Is that right?
I do. This was a wonderful story that was given to me recently. Do you want to take that call first?
Yeah, let's take this call first, and then we'll do the story about the Christmas orange. Go ahead. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning. How's my favorite rodeo announcer today?
Doing fine, sir. Thank you for your call. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you and your friends and your family. I sorry I didn't make it down here on Thursday night. I made an effort. I had to work late, but, I glad you all had a good time. It went well. I'd like to thank George for what he does for people in the area. It means a lot to those that he touches a lot of people, whether he sees them all or not. He touches a lot of people.
Well, I appreciate your kind remarks, and next year we'll look forward to having you sitting on the straw bales with us and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, okay?
Okay. Merry Christmas to Gina, too. She's working her butt off.
Oh, she does. I don't know what we'd do without my two favorite gals, Gina and Goober. Absolutely fantastic. God bless you and Merry Christmas, sir.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. We have just come into the studio this morning, some cowboys and cowgirls and everything. What is your name right there, little girl? Go ahead. Hold that microphone real close.
Annie.
What's your last name?
Annie Walker.
And where are you from?
I'm from Kimberly.
Okay. And who are you related to that you're down here visiting?
I'm related to my grandma and grandpa, but I live right next door.
You live right next door, I see. Okay, well, it's really good to have you. Now, your grandma and grandpa McKinley, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Now, I know your grandpa, and he's kind of what's a good word to put it? I bet he's kind of a fun grandpa, isn't he?
Yes.
Does he get you all kinds of good stuff and everything?
Uh-huh.
Take you for ice cream? He does?
Yep.
Well, you call me anytime he's a cheapskate, and we'll make sure that he gets reprimanded and takes you for ice cream, okay?
Okay.
Who's this little guy?
AJ.
AJ? Now, AJ, you've got your hat on like a bareback rider. I'll tell you what, you look like a cowboy. Do you like horses?
Yeah.
You do? You want to be a cowboy?
Yeah.
What's your favorite event?
Girls?
You like the bareback riding or the roping, or what do you like?
Bareback ride.
You got your hat shaped like a bareback rider, too. I'll tell you. How old are you?
6.
6 years old? Well, I'll tell you, you're a dandy. Thank you for coming by.
Okay.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too. God bless both of you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Mrs. McKinley, Lee McKinley, how are you?
I'm great, Zeb. How are you this morning?
I am so... Now, these are your 2 grandkids?
Yes, we have 4 that live right next door, but 2 couldn't make it today. But
Oh, my goodness sakes.
I was going to just tell you, Zeb, that these 2 kids would like to be cowboys, cowgirls, but, you know, we live in the city. So, unfortunately, they would like to come to your house and spend the next summer.
Oh, let them come. Let them come. I'll tell you, they're cuties right there. I love both of those kids. And here you have 2 wonderful grandkids, and you're such a beautiful lady. What are you doing for the Christmas season?
Well, we're staying home and enjoying these grandkids, and some more are coming.
Does that mean that old man that lives with you is going to be cooped up in the house with you during the Christmas season?
Oh, sorry to say, yeah.
You know, I've got stories about him that go back 20, 30 years. I don't suppose we got enough time to tell all of them, do we?
We probably don't, but yeah. He's enjoyed your friendship all these years, Zeb.
Well, not as much as I've enjoyed him, knowing you folks and, of course, your sons. Now, tell us a little bit how the boys doing.
Jed and Mark, they are doing great.
Okay.
I think they're kind of what inspired these kids to be cowboys, because they look up to their Uncle Jed and Uncle Mark, and think they were pretty tough guys.
You know what makes me feel so old, Lee, is because I can remember when Jed and Mark were just kids starting out in the rodeo business, and now here they are, presented you with a family and your grandparents. Man, I feel like I've got a lot more gray hair in my mustache.
Well, you've got a full head of hair, though. That's a good thing.
I looked over at Lee, Mark. I mean, Dave, and I got all discombobulated. Take your cap off there for a minute, Dave, would you please? Yep, now we know where all the problems went. All the stress and the worry.
All the stress. He's lost his hair.
Oh, God bless you for coming out this morning.
Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for everything.
Thank you very much.
Hey.
Kids, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. I got to get this guy on the microphone, because he's been a friend of mine for so many years, and that's Dave McKinley. Dave, it is a treat to have you here, and you know what? I'm not going to poke fun at you. I'm not going to say anything negative. I'm just going to say Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, Ted.
Now, tell us a little bit, real quick. Hold that microphone close. You've got a appraisal company, right?
Yes, sir.
And the name of it is?
McKinley Clunt. Now,
I see.
I've got a partner who's really a top dog in the business. And, you know, I got the best of 2 worlds right now, Zeb.
Well,
I'm a little older than you.
Not much.
Yeah, a few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell you how much your friendship has meant to me over the years. And normally Dave and I get together and we kind of have a stab fest where we're jabbing each other all the time. But you've got a wonderful family, and I'm pretty proud to have you here.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
And what about all your wingmen that were supposed to come over?
Right. Well, I invited my entourage, remember?
Yes.
And they declined.
They didn't want to come out to old bankrupt Ram and Cattle Company, huh?
No, I think they're probably running appraisals and waiting for me to review them. So,
Dave, you've got a wonderful family, and you must be pretty proud of everybody, the way they've turned out and have their own families now. It must be quite a blessed Christmas.
I feel very blessed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty lucky.
And you look good. I mean, my goodness, except that you're missing something that's a part of your wardrobe. Whatever happened to that pink cap?
Hey, dude, ask her. I've been trying to find it so I could
You're the one that hit it.
Bring it back. I mean, I'll never outlive the pinky, but
no. But you've got a good cap on that says "Happy, happy, happy" with the Duck Dynasty.
That's right.
And this shows the goodness is prevailing.
If you would permit me, I'd like to show you the back of my T-shirt.
The back of your T-shirt?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and see the back of your T-shirt. Okay, hold on, everybody at home. And it's Old Guys Rule. Life is tough, but it's tougher if you're stupid. John Wayne. And that's exactly the best way to put it. Old Guys Rule. God bless you, Dave and Lee. Thank you so much. And the kids.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, have some goodies out in the other room. All right. Merry Christmas to you. We've got a caller with a question. Good morning, caller. Go ahead, please.
I got a request for all our people that we know, lunch bunchers and that, and people that have people in these nursing homes.
Yes, sir.
Take 5 minutes and go over and say hello and give them a big hug and wish them Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Everybody try to remember somebody else on this Christmas week. And Al, thank you. And you and Polly, Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you.
Thank you, my friend. Got to pay some bills here real quick. Don't forget Cameron and Siemens Life Insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this through our friends, locally owned and operated. Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens, serving you. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, 436-4424. That's the number to call for the insurance professionals, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. You know what we're going to do right now? We're finally going to get that orange story on the air. Keith, go ahead if you would, please.
Thank you, Zeb. Sometime around 1850, in a large city in the east, there lived a boy named Jack. He didn't have a last name or a middle name, just one single name, Jack, scrawled on a wrinkled scrap of newspaper that was pinned to his baby clothes. No one knew who his parents were, where they came from, or where they went. Jack just showed up one day in a cheap wicker laundry basket on the step of the orphanage. He was a quiet baby and tried hard to listen to the grown-ups who told him what to do, and he always followed the rules. When he was 9, he had chocolate brown wavy hair and eyes to match. The boys in the orphanage went without more often than not. When December rolled around, their stomachs growled and shivers grew less as the townspeople remembered the Christmas spirit and remembered the poor. And on every Christmas morning, a treat appeared at breakfast, an orange. Jack and the other boys waited eagerly all year long. In fact, it was the only Christmas gift that they had ever received. It was prized above all other things. Each boy saved his single orange as long as possible. Jack's quiet and gentle personality won him many friends in the orphanage by the time he was 9 years old. They played their own form of baseball every chance they could, using a fallen tree limb for a bat and a rock with a rag tied around it for a ball. They drew bases in the dirt with a stick, and Jack and his buddies played even after the snow fell. Their teams, the Pirates and the Cowboys. Each had 10 boys, and Jack was the captain of the Cowboys. It was Christmas Eve, and the championship game was at the bottom of the last inning. Jack and the Cowboys were down by 1 run. The Pirates had already made 2 outs, and it was Jack's turn at bat. He grabbed the tree limb that was used for a bat, and he stepped up into the plate. He tested the swing of the bat a few times, and he scanned the bases, ignoring the other team's catcalls. Every boy in the orphanage was standing on the sidelines, and their eyes were riveted on Jack. He swallowed one last time. He stepped into the batter's box. He nodded to the pitcher, and the pitcher looked from side to side and started his windup. Jack kept his eye on the pitcher's right hand as it came around and felt a shiver rush through his body. His eyes followed that raucous ball as fast as it came hurling towards him, and he swung that bat as hard and as even as he could. Crack! The ball soared above the third baseman's head. Up and up it went, and it flew past the left fielder. Jack pumped his legs as fast as he could. He rounded first base. He headed to second base at top speed. His eyes was following the ball, the course of the ball the whole way. His steps slowed as he judged the ball's distance, and his heart stopped beating as he realized what was about to happen. The ball sailed straight through the second-story window. The precious, expensive glass shattered. Not a sound was heard, except for the tinkling of the glass. Every boy stood like a statue, immobile and frightened. Jack stood stuck between second and third base, and beads of sweat and fear popped out on his forehead. One by one, the boys turned and looked at him, their mouths hanging open. Jack looked from one to the other, hardly believing what had happened. He was afraid to think. Every head turned as the orphanage's front door opened, and the headmaster charged out towards them. It didn't take him long to figure out who was responsible for the broken window. He hauled Jack off by the ear, dragging him up the steps and inside. And then the bell rung, and the boys silently filed into the gray stone building. The next day was Christmas. All of the boys woke before the bell sounded, thrilled to their toes to find that at the foot of their bed, all except Jack, there was no bright orange on Jack's bed. He looked around the large room and he saw the round fruit cradled in each boy's hand. The other boys, even his best friends, his fellow cowboys, avoided his glance and talked only amongst themselves. Jack tried to ignore the silence. He kept his eyes off of their orange, but it was too hard. It seemed so unfair that was his punishment for yesterday's broken window. It had been an accident after all, but nothing he could say would change anything or soften the headmaster's heart. And so, without an orange, he dragged through the day. He did his chores in silence, for no one would speak to him. He walked to the chapel alone. He stood by himself in the yard. Jack had never felt so miserable in his entire life. But he could not bear to be without his friends. It was the greatest punishment of all. And oh, how he wanted his orange. But it was not to be. Not this year. Finally, Christmas Day was over and Jack went alone to bed. He just couldn't face seeing all the other boys with their precious orange. With his head buried beneath his pillow, the little boy shook as he sobbed. A soft hand on his shoulder startled Jack, and he sat up. A strange, moist object was shoved into his hands, and the giver quickly ran down the aisle between the beds in the dark. Jack felt the odd object. It took him a moment to figure out what it was. Not a regular orange was cradled in his palm, but a very special one, pieced together from segments of 9 other oranges by his cowboy teammates.
The Christmas orange. I love it. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Keith Ramsey. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got so much to get on this morning, and I appreciate Keith and Pastor Lissau and everybody being here. We've got a whole slug of people out in the other room. We're going to get on at various times through the program this morning. In just a moment, we're going to have our daily Christmas carol, and it's a special one this morning by our dear friend Linda Croft, who's going to call in. And before we do that, I want to remind everybody about the Santa specials at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Last-minute shoppers for recliners and adjustable beds and all your carpet needs, your sofa and love seats, of course, all the bar stools, and, of course, the curio cabinets, all of this and more. Right there, Santa specials at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland and Burley. Stop in, and they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. It is time now for the Christmas Carol of the Day, brought to you by Pickett Equipment Company at 976 East Main Street in Burley. Of course, Pickett Equipment Company, world famous with their bean equipment, especially the one-step rod cutter. Give Stephen the crew a call at Pickett Equipment Company at 678-0855, or go to their website, PickettEquipment.com. And right now, good morning, Linda Croft. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Am I coming across okay?
You're coming across just fine, and you have a Christmas carol for us today. What are you going to sing for us this morning?
Let there be peace on earth.
Linda, I'm just going to turn it over to you. You are our featured Christmas carol of the day, brought to everyone by Pickett Equipment. Please, Merry Christmas, and go ahead if you would.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Thank you. is so pretty, so beautiful. You've been blessed with such a beautiful voice, Linda Croft, and every year you've been on our program since I can't even remember with your beautiful singing of Christmas carols. God bless you, and Merry, Merry Christmas, and please come back again next year and wish us another Merry Christmas, would you please?
I will. Thank you. It's a privilege.
God bless you, Linda. Thank you so much. And that is our Christmas Carol of the Day, brought to you by Steve and the rest of the crew at Pickett Equipment Company. Number to call, 678-0855. Wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. George, I'll be with you in just a second. I want to remind everybody about Let's Ride, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Listen, they're going to be open today. Yes, this is unusual for them. They're open today on the 23rd from 9 to 6. Tomorrow they're going to be open from 9 to 2. Last-minute Christmas shopping for all your four-wheelers and, of course, the snowmobiles and all the accessories. What a great place to go where the fun is sold. Let's Ride, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Thank you for that flash in my eyes. I appreciate that. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. You stop in and see them today. George, what have you got for me?
Yes, sir. Zeb, I've got to run. I got a lot of stuff on the plate today, but I wanted to wish you and your bride and all your listeners a very Merry Christmas, and thank everybody for their support for last year. Looking forward to next year.
George, first of all, I can't leave without saying Merry Christmas to Adam. Adam Fowler's right there. Put the microphone over in front of him. Adam, God bless you. You got a new pair of glasses on. They look pretty sharp there, young man.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, Zeb.
Oh, you're a wonderful young man. The best to you.
Yeah, he's. I'm going to touch just a bit on our youth for
Liberty.
Liberty, yeah.
I'll help any way I can.
Yeah. We've got about 10, 11 kids now.
Really?
And they really shine, and they will be out. I mean, they're great, and it's nice to see the patriotism. It's just for these younger generations.
Absolutely.
Oakley did a program on and DECLO, with their high school for the wreaths across America, what have you. But anyway, our patriotism is alive and well.
Absolutely. George Mass, God bless you and Donna. And, of course, big thanks to Adam for driving you over here. You can't drive anymore, can you?
Yeah, about 4 more years, and he'll be driving this fat boy. He'll be sitting over taking a nap. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, my dear friend. Merry Christmas, Adam. Thank you very much. Oh, my. We're going to do another quick commercial here, and I want to remind everybody about the UPS store. Don't forget last-minute Santa Claus printing. They can handle it for you. Let them print your holiday greetings, whether it's, of course, Christmas cards, customized greetings, invitations, calendars, everything. They can take care of it with their little elves right over there at the UPS store, 322 East Main Street. Maybe the thank you cards for all your Christmas gifts that you received. They can take care of it. All you have to do is stop in and see them at 322 East Main Street in Burley. The UPS store, 678-0127, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. You know what I'd like to do is, if I may, I'm going to do something that has been kind of a custom here on the show, The Legend of the Little Donkey.
Oh, great.
And I'm going to do that.
Great
and then,
story.
Pastor Alex, if you would go over on that microphone, and then we're going to follow that up with the Christmas reading of Luke, and then we'll get some other people in the audience here this morning, so stand by for that. And if you have calls and questions, please give us a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The Legend of the Little Donkey. There are many Christmas legends, and this is one of them, about the little donkey Mary rode to Bethlehem. In his haste to start their journey, Joseph bought what he could find, and he led it from the market, never knowing it was blind. As they traveled all the morning and the sun had risen high, Joseph said that they should rest beneath the trees nearby. He dropped the rope and the donkey had worn on the bridle and lifted Mary down. But the little donkey stumbled on a rock upon the ground. And Joseph, looking closer, passed his hand before the eyes of the frightened little donkey, but his heart could not despise the animal's infirmity, remembering that he at steady gait had borne the weight of Mary patiently. He gently took the donkey's rope and led beneath the shade, where Mary sat upon a little blanket that she had made. She softly whispered to him, and he seemed to understand, and he edged a little closer as he nibbled at her hand. And the small one never faltered through each long and weary mile, and Joseph led him carefully, for Mary was with child. And he held his hand up and his head up proudly, with frequent joyous sighs, for his heart saw what he could not with his sightless little eyes. And drawing near the city, a weary Joseph found no room except a stable on the outskirts of the town. So they shared it with the oxen and made a bed of hay, so Mary and her newborn child could rest throughout the day. And the little donkey stood against the old rough stable wall, contented just to listen to angels' songs and all. When suddenly about him there appeared a wondrous light that fell across his rough brown coat and blazed across the night. And raising up his blessed hand, the child smiled tenderly, and the little donkey staggered back, amazed, for he could see. There are many Christmas legends, and this is one of them. They say it really happened long ago in Bethlehem. The legend of the little donkey.
What a wonderful story.
Thank you, Keith. Pastor Alex Lissau, if you would now, I think it's a great time to go with the true story of Christmas and the real meaning of Christmas with Luke and the Bible.
Okay. The birth of Jesus Christ, Luke chapter 2. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration when Quirinius was governor of Syria. And all went to be registered, each to his own town. And Joseph went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. And while they were there, the time came for her to give birth. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling cloths, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. And in the same region there were shepherds out in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And an angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were filled with great fear. And the angel said to them, "Fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling cloths and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those with whom he is pleased." When the angels went away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go over to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has made known to us." And they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the baby lying in a manger. And when they saw it, they made known the saying that had been told them concerning this child. And all who heard it wondered at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as had been told to them. And at the end of those 8 days, he was circumcised. What the Gospel of Luke teaches us is that Luke, who was a brilliant young man, a doctor, a physician, recorded everything according to exactly what he was told and what he witnessed. And we know to this day that the birth of Christ was the gift of God to his people. that we might in him find redemption from sin and the glory of eternal life in the blessed Savior, who is our Lord and King. May I wish all of you the reason for the season, the most merriest of Christmases. God bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Alex Lissau. Oh, boy, the real reason for the season is right. Keith, could you take that microphone out of the stand, or right there, and we have some other guests that have just walked in the house, and I want to get both of these gentlemen on the air just for a quick second. Of course, the Jerome County Commissioner Extraordinaire, Charles Howell. Good morning, Charles. How are you?
Good morning, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, my dear friend. How's life been treating you lately?
Life's been treating me very good. You know, I mean, I get to come and go, get to see my family, get to see good friends. It's all well.
And did you get a chance to go to Las Vegas?
Oh, we did go to Las Vegas. Went the last 4 days. Yes.
Last 4 days.
Yep.
And
got to watch Logan rope.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And last 4 days with the verbiage of the national finals, that bears kind of a evil, ominous sound, doesn't it?
Well, it's interesting the angle they're both approaching it at. So it'll be very interesting before it gets all done.
Absolutely. What about Jerome County? Quickly, tell us how are things over in Jerome County as far as the commission's
Commissioner's doing well. We're still working on the jail. It's just taking a lot longer than what I thought it would. And then it's amazing because I meet Jerome County residents here, and the first thing I get asked is why did my tax bill go up? And that's just part of that's the jail, and part of that's what it is. So there were some new assessments this year, and I don't mean to be daunting your Christmas program with politics, but the assessments went up, and so did the bill, and unfortunately, that's what we're getting hit with the most here lately. So
absolutely, Charlie, you're always welcome. You've been a dear friend for years. I know that I'll be thinking about you when you're in Arizona this spring.
I appreciate that.
I'll be laying in a hospital bed, wishing I was down there, my friend.
Yeah, I heard you a little bit that you didn't know how long you're going to be laid up, but hopefully it won't be too long.
Well, listen, I really do appreciate your coming over and sharing Christmas with us, and be sure and get a plate of goodies out in the other room.
We did. I had some eats there to start with, and they're great. The salami is marvelous. The cookies are great. Appreciate you inviting me, and wish everybody around here a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it being here. Thank you very much. Charlie Howell, one of the Jerome County Commissioners. Merry Christmas, my dear friend. And caller, good morning with your thoughts. Go ahead, please.
How are you doing this morning, Mr. Bell?
We are busy. Good morning and Merry Christmas to you.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, and I just want you to know that I've been trying to listen to you as much as I can here at work over the past week, and just appreciate the positive attitude about Christmas and everything, because not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before.
Yes, sir.
My wife and I had gone from Burley over to Twin Falls to do some Christmas shopping, and she was in the mall over there, and I was sitting down there on a bench, and there was two young ladies there, approximately, probably 15, 16 years old, and I sat there and started talking to them, was having a nice conversation with them, and then the one girl said, well, let's go get our picture taken in the picture booth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they went and got their pictures taken. Well, these two girls come out, and when they come out, they both had a hat on, and it had probably the most derogatory word, which you probably know that I'm talking about, on the hat. One of them says blankety fabulous, and the other one says crazy mother blank,
Oh my!
And just strutting around there. And so these two girls come over to me and walked by me, and I stopped them and I says, aren't you the least bit embarrassed to wear something like that around here in the mall at Christmas time with all these little kids and everything? And they both turned around and looked at me and said, no, we're not embarrassed. And they said, besides that, you can go straight to you-know-where.
Oh, my goodness.
And it just totally ruined my spirit for about 3 or 4 days after. And I thought, what's this world coming to when you got kids like this, doing things like that? But then I come back to work, in a couple of days after, and I start listening to your program. And, you have the positive attitude. You're talking about Christmas, the true meaning of it, how we can help, and it's better to give than to receive. And I just want you to know that you really did help me to, get my Christmas spirit back. And I wanted to go caroling with you last week, but I ended up having to work late. And I'm sitting here at work today, and it's not a real busy day, but I'm listening to the program and enjoying every minute of it. And I want to wish you and your family and all your listeners the very merriest of Christmases. And I want to wish you the best of luck with your surgery.
No, God bless you. You know, that means an awful lot to me, and hopefully one of these days we'll get a chance to shake hands and sit down and visit a little bit. God bless you, and thank you.
We will get to do that, because I had it planned to do it last Thursday night, and unfortunately work wouldn't let me, but but the happiest of holiday seasons to everybody out there, and just remember, it's not the getting, it's the giving, and God bless you all.
Oh, thank you, sir. That brings a tear to my eye and really joy to my heart. Thank you so much. God bless you. That was really, really nice. I've got a weather forecast that's about 5 minutes late, but I'm going to get it in here real quick, brought to you by the Magic Valley Chalet and, of course, the Upper Crust Restaurant. Oh, my goodness, 1367th Street in Heyburn. And they have wonderful Christmas gift-giving ideas with their baskets that you can have made up special just for that someone right here in this area. They can take care of it. And then, of course, they've got all the delicious ice cream. They've got all the flavors like eggnog, chocolate eggnog, peppermint, chocolate chip. They've got it all for you at the Magic Valley Chalet and the Upper Crust with that beautiful restaurant upstairs. Ooh, what a great menu. You're going to love it. Here's Michael Rogers weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got good news and I got bad news. What do you want first? One's good news. No problem. Here we are in winter. The good news is about winter, number one, we continue to gain daylight all the way to June 21st. When we get there, the Magic Valley will get about 14 hours and change, but we're not there yet. The other good news is that we got about close to about 86 days before spring. Spring will take place on March 20th. Now, what's the bad news? I don't have any. I thought I'd share some good news with you. So there you go. Cloud today, 42 for the high, right around 27, 28 for the overnight low, and enjoy the holidays and enjoy the weather. That's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. As always, Merry Christmas to MichaelRogersWeather.com, brought to you by the Magic Valley Chalet in the Upper Crust, 1367th Street in Heyburn. Don't forget the Christmas gift baskets. You can customize them starting at just $15.95 at the Magic Valley Chalet. My insurance man is here with Farm Bureau, and what a great guy he has been to us. Clint Van Biesen, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Nice to have you out here.
Oh, thanks. I heard about free food. Of course, I came out.
Did you get a plate of food yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. And all set for your family Christmas? Your family keeps expanding, by the way.
Yeah, we've got 2 new grandkids this year, so that's a total of 4 now. So, yeah, our Christmas is going to be... In fact, my wife is going to come out, but she has to go grocery shopping, so
well, now,
I'm not sure what that bill's going to be.
Any special thing that you as a family do a little different for Christmas with all the kids coming over and everything? Any special traditions or anything?
Not really. We always do Christmas at our house, and we always have, and that's just, it sounds kind of boring, but that's the way we do it. And a lot of people don't get to do that. All the kids come over and all the grandkids, and everybody's there, and that's what we like to do.
Well, I'll tell you something, Clint, I appreciate everything you've done for my family to help us. And from our house to yours, it means a lot that you came all the way out here for a cinnamon roll, but we really appreciate it, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
There was 2 cinnamon rolls.
2 cinnamon rolls?
So it wasn't just one, yeah.
Don't worry about it. There's plenty out there. I know Deanne always builds enough food out there for a farm fashion cruise, so thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you much. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Zeb, and I'm going to read a scripture here in relation to what that gentleman said about the young ladies a moment ago.
Yes.
This is out of Isaiah 3. Judah is falling. Jerusalem staggers. Their words and deeds are against the Lord, defying his glorious presence. The look on their faces testify against them. They parade their sin like Sodom. They do not hide it. Woe unto them. They have brought disaster upon themselves.
How true. How true. You know, thank you. You've been a religious caller on this program, and I mean that in the connotation that you call on many, many events and topics. But I want to take the time to extend to you so much a thank you for your involvement in the show and the very merriest of Christmas this year, 2013. Thank you so much.
Well, Well, thank you, sir, and thank you for what you're doing.
I appreciate
Merry
it.
Christmas to everyone.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Same to you. Good day.
Keith, I haven't asked you to do anything as far as singing is concerned, and we've got roughly about 3.5 minutes left. If you've got a short little tune that maybe you could sing for us, I'd certainly appreciate it. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm dreaming tonight of a place I love even more than I usually do. And although I know it's a long road back, I promise you I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe with presents round the tree. Christmas Eve will find you where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dream.
I tell you what, that song means a lot to me. I told you that before, that the I'll Be Home for Christmas is a very, very special song for me and my parents, etc. But my goodness, look who just walked through the door. We're going to get him on at the beginning of this next hour. Jack Euler, a dear, sage, old friend here this morning. Merry Christmas wishes go from Pro Paint at 1116 Overland Avenue in Burley with the best paint, best stains, best advice. Merry Christmas to you from Pro Paint, along with some other great folks, including the Golden Valley Warehouse at 468 West, 100 South of Burley, locally owned and operated, quality seated, competitive prices. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Butte Irrigation at 116 South, 600 West Highway 27 in Paul, and 22342 Kimberly Road in Twin. Butte Irrigation, Merry Christmas, everybody. And, of course, the Magic Valley Carpet at 613 D Street in Rupert. All your carpet needs. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, Magic Valley Carpet. Well, pick up that microphone over there, Jack. You're on the air here real quick. Jack Euler, dear friend that's been here. Is he the last one out in the other room? Where's everybody else? They all left? Oh, my goodness, you must be lonesome right now, Goober.
I didn't bath this morning.
How are you, Jack?
Great.
Oh, it wouldn't be a Christmas show without having you come by. Thanks for taking the time. You're supposed to say thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mr. Bell.
Okay. Jack, what's going on in Christmas with your family? Any special traditions or anything?
Yes. Family always gets together, and we're looking forward to it. I'm a little sad about my special grandson who is on a mission now, but so he won't be there.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. He's going to be prayed over and thought of.
I expect an email from him today.
Absolutely. We're talking about Jed, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Where's he serving?
South Washington, D.C. mission.
Oh, boy.
He's Northern Virginia.
Actually, that's a really good place for him to be. He can clean up the whole mess back there.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got his hands full.
Yes, he does.
But, you know, I served a mission away from home for a couple of years in Germany, and I'll just have to tell you, it was one of the sweetest times of my life, and especially the Christmas time. So we can feel bad that they're not with us, but you know what? They're spreading love and joy somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And I want to say something about the people that young man has been in contact with throughout his, early life. And it's these guys on the Duck Call show.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
He met them in Stuttgart, Arkansas, when he was when he qualified for the National Duck Calling Championships in Stuttgart, and he qualified there 2 or 3 times, and he's called with those people. He's hunted with them.
Let's do this. I've got to run to the news right now, but when we get back, let's talk a little bit about the Robertson family and rights and wrongs and the evils in society, especially at this Christmas time. We're going to take a little break right now. Jack Euler, Keith Ramsey are here. We're expecting more people to walk in. We've had a busy open house so far this morning, in wishing you a very Merry Christmas. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away. Oh, my goodness sakes. We just had a new visitor come into the house, haven't even had a chance to say hello to him yet. And that happens to be former representative and outstanding supporter of all the state events, Bert Stevenson. So glad to have you here. Easy, Jack, on the equipment. Hold on a second there. Take your headsets off first. Oh, my goodness sakes. Good morning. Bert Stevenson here. Just a minute, we'll get him on the air. This is Zeb at the Ranch, and we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, and they include Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley, and, of course, our friends at Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service today. Call them, 734-6969. Don't forget the Chadwick Sports Grill. My goodness sakes, they've got delicious luncheon specials, and here's the situation for this week. Today, Monday, they're going to have chicken marinara over fettuccine noodles, veggies, super salad, and then they're going to be closed tomorrow, and they'll be closed on Christmas Day, and we'll give you the menu on Thursday. It's going to be outstanding. The Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. For you hungry Christmas shoppers out there, last minute Santa Claus, you stop in. $5.95 luncheon special at the Chadwick Sports Grill in Burley. My goodness, we have with us one of my dearest friends, Bert Stevenson. How are you this morning? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Zeb, and thanks for allowing us to come by and do that. I feel kind of honored to sit in front of these distinguished gentlemen that you have with you here today. If only I had their brilliance and talent.
Now, Bert,
I'd amount to something.
Bert, you must be talking about a different Jack Euler and and of course Keith Ramsey. You know, Keith has been with me ever since I started this program, and I have nothing but the best of things to say about him. But I got to give Jack a hard time, more so than anybody else, because he's been with us as a dear friend for almost 20 years. God bless him. Really a nice guy.
Well, and I commend you for your doing all you can to train Jack and to keep him kind of lined out and doing what Jack needs to be doing.
You know, when we used to film the Cowboy series, you know, the television series Cowboy Country, and Jack was kind of our gopher and get-to-it man and all this kind of stuff, and we relied on Jack for making sure that everything was on the set and that we were ready to have this sequence shot and everything. We didn't appreciate how great a gentleman he really is, but he's very hardworking, very diligent, one of the best friends a guy could ever have.
If that's the only kind of people we had in the world was Jack Euler's kind, we'd be in heaven.
Amen. Amen. So you're out and about this morning. Merry Christmas to you.
Thanks, Zeb. Merry Christmas to you, and I've enjoyed your program along as I've listened this morning.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We haven't done nothing or anything too political or too jaw-dropping, have we?
No. This is the season that we ought to remember what it's
Absolutely.
for, rather than what we get to straighten the world out.
You know, let me ask you, though, Bert, I know you've got a lot of family and everything. Any special traditions that the Stevenson family has during Christmas season?
I don't think any different than any others. We try to keep our focus more on the birth of the Savior. Rather, I get really tired of the commercialization of Christmas anymore. We start Christmas before Halloween's over.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's
terrible.
And that isn't what Christmas is about. And I'm grateful, Zeb, that I lived in an era where we didn't have all of these pressures. Jack and I are pretty near the same age.
You know, and also my dear friend Keith here with his beautiful voice singing all the Christmas carols and, of course, different Christmas stories and everything. That's what I like about Christmas is the feel-good stories.
And there's a lot of them out there.
Absolutely.
There's a tremendous amount of them. Thanks.
Well, now, what are you doing in your spare time? Well, Fred Wood's here also this morning. Congratulations, Representative Fred Wood. We've got them all here this morning. What are you doing in your spare time now that you're not a full-time legislator?
Oh, I just worked a little bit with the Chamber of Commerce over there. I'm on that board, and then I'm on the State Water Board, and try to do the right thing.
And the governor keeps you busy on that water board?
Well, we've got lots of issues, and I can tell you what driving over here and the lack of snow makes me really nervous as to what this... Well, I shouldn't be nervous. The Lord has always blessed Magic Valley And if we would realize that that blessing comes from Him rather than our abilities to control the weather.
Amen. Amen. Is there still enough time, though, Bert, if we all of a sudden see this weather pattern change and get some snow up there?
Oh, yeah, we've got plenty of time, Zeb. It may not be as much as we want. We'll make it through, but we're going to all have to share and work together.
Okay.
It isn't very often that we have our reservoirs this low as they are now, but this is Christmas, and you and I remember several days that wake up Christmas morning, and you being from Wisconsin, that snow was deeper and deeper than you'd remembered the night before.
Absolutely. You know, I miss those Christmases, but I don't miss that severe cold weather we had back there. That was cold. That was cold.
That is cold.
That is. Bert, God bless you and Elaine. You know you mean so much to us. I'm certainly glad you're here this morning.
Well, and I'm glad to be counted as one of your friends, Zeb. And I didn't know I was being fortunate enough to run into Jack Oler. Now I've been listening to Keith's beautiful music on the radio.
Well, it kind of reminds me of that TV show, only I'll change a couple of the letters. This is like America's Most Unwanted.
Not true.
No. God
Do I ever get to speak for myself?
God bless you, and I appreciate it, Bert. Thank you very much. I've got to do some commercials here real quick, and I want to remind everybody about our friends, of course, that are helping sponsor the Cassia County School Days, and we certainly appreciate A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley, and also Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. We want to say thank you very much and Merry Christmas. And you can shop online at A Child's World in Burley.com, and also for all your surgery needs. And remember, for over 14 years, the Ambulatory Surgery Center of Burley has served area families and saved them thousands of dollars. Our thanks to both A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, and the Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley for bringing you school days in Cassia County. Thank you very much. I believe that we also have another gentleman that just walked into the studio, and I'm very proud to have him on the air this morning, Representative Fred Wood. Good morning, Fred. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and how are you and Amy? All set for the holidays?
We're set for the holidays, whether we're set or not, we're set for the holiday.
Well, now, I feel like this is really quite a gathering here. I mean, this is like sitting in the midst of Mount Rushmore as far as famous political personas here.
Well, I was just sitting here thinking, Zeb, there's a lot of wisdom and a lot of
careful now, Fred.
I understand, but I mean, if you look at Jack and Bert and yourself and this distinguished gentleman sitting here that's been on the program, as you said this morning, since basically its inception. Mm-hmm. If you talk about the knowledge of the Mini-Cassia area, you're talking about a wealth of knowledge here. So I feel like the newcomer here. I really do.
Well, let's just talk just for a moment about your service to the state of Idaho as a representative. I mean, this time of the year, I would imagine you've got some heartfelt stories of success that make you appreciative to serve the public. Isn't that true?
That's true. Zeb, life has been awful kind to me. And the good Lord has been awful kind also, and particularly in this last year with my wife. And so I'll tell you, I've got a lot to be thankful for.
Amen.
And I do look at this as strictly public service in a way that I can pay back the citizens of the Mini-Cassia area for the blessings that I've received in the last 68 years.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I bet each and every person in this room, if we passed the microphone around the table, we'd all have a special little thank goodness and thank the good Lord story that we live here in Idaho. I bet you're one of those too, aren't you?
You bet. I mean, I wasn't born here, but moved here, I was about 2.5 years old. Can't remember that. but essentially lived in Idaho ever since then, and there's no better place on earth, I can tell you that.
Absolutely. Bert, what about you? Stories about fortunate that you live here in the state of Idaho at Christmas time? Anything special that comes to mind at this time of the year?
Zeb, my only story is I was born north of Asequa and never bright enough to get out of town. Other than to go in the service, Uncle Sam invited me to go there, and he couldn't make a career out of that, so I had to come back and be a dirt farmer.
Well, I'll tell you what, Keith, what about you? Any special stories about why you're thankful you're celebrating Christmas here in the state of Idaho?
It's really interesting because I was also born and raised right here in Burley. My father was born out at Marion, a city that doesn't exist anymore except in the maps and in the minds of the people that know where it is, out just northwest of Oakley. And his folks actually came here because the Oakley Dam was just spilling its first water, and they had homesteaded out in what is called out in the Golden Valley area. And they waited for 2 years for the water, and the water did not come. And so they moved back to Utah. However, in the meantime, my grandmother met my grandfather, and they married, and that's where the Ramsey clan started back in 1935, and we've been here since.
I'll be. And Jack Euler, I would be amiss if I didn't ask you your favorite stories about Idaho Christmas. Now, you're not from originally Idaho either, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm from Utah originally.
Yeah.
My wife's from Shoshone, and we moved from Utah to Washington, and she wanted to get back closer to her family. And so in the 80s, we moved back here to Idaho, and we have loved it ever since. And we wouldn't give anything. We love Idaho. We love what it represents. But, over the years, I have found that we have got to, if we want to keep what we have got to stand up for it.
Amen.
And I just ask people to stand up for your beliefs, because there's a lot of things that go on that our beliefs are bigger than what is going on.
Absolutely. Jack, thank you again. Fred, you mentioned you're not here from Idaho originally. What state are you from?
Well, actually, I was born in Washington, D.C. at the end of World War II. Dad
Really?
I was born in Walter Reed Army Medical Center. Dad was still in the office chief of Pentagon there, in the Pentagon when I was born. And so I'm not actually a boomer. I'm actually whatever the generation was before that.
Pre-boomer.
By 1 month. The World War II generation by 1 month.
Pre-boom, is that what you said?
So anyway, but we did move to Idaho when I was about 2.5 years old. Mom and Dad moved and started farming, and lived here ever since.
And you, of course, have been a doctor and still are, is that correct?
Correct. I left the farm. Dad told me that I wasn't going to make it as a farmer, and I believed him. So I went to school, and I always wanted to be a doctor. And when I got out of training and out of the Air Force, I served 3 years in the Air Force during the Vietnam War. Then I moved to Burley and didn't expect to stay, and within 6 months fell in love with the Mini-Cassia area, and the rest is history.
Absolutely.
As they would say.
We'll go around the table here on the time we have left in this half hour. I got about 8 minutes left before the hard break at the bottom of the hour, and ask you folks, Idaho as compared to other states, do we have the same kind of problems like California, Wyoming, etc., or are we, because of great leadership and perhaps looking through the problems and solving some of the problems, are we ahead of some of those states? What are your thoughts, Fred?
Well, Bert could probably comment on this better than I, at least from the legislative perspective. And, of course, Keith and Jack are as wise as anybody here about life. But the fact is that Idaho is still continuing to operate on a fiscal basis and a legislative basis like the federal government used to operate. And in the last 50 years, the federal government used to have baseline budgeting until 40 or 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went away from that, and goodness knows how they operate now. But at least Idaho, wherever you go, people understand that there is a difference between right and wrong, no matter, I don't care what persuasion you come from, that you do pay your bills, that you don't spend more money than you take in.
Amen.
And you know, just those basic things and we may have our differences in the legislature, but almost everybody in the legislature even understands those basic facts. And so I think we do operate and continue to operate differently than a lot of states.
Very well said. Very well said. Bert, your thoughts quickly on the state of Idaho as compared to other states, our neighbor states.
Well, Zeb, when I was in the legislature and we were having to trim budgets down and the revenue wasn't coming in, some of the states were trying to figure out ways to assess and borrow money to do that, and we didn't, the state of Idaho wouldn't do it. Our Constitution doesn't allow us to do it, and we feel strongly enough about the Constitution that we'll follow it in the state of Idaho. And I think that's so important that people remember.
Absolutely.
That some of people hurt. A lot of people hurt when we were having to trim those budgets. But I can tell you, we're out of it, and we're in much better shape now than we were then.
You know, Keith Ramsey, you and your family, your dad started a business years and years ago, and it's prospered right here in the state of Idaho. What are your thoughts? Had it been anywhere else other than this state of Idaho, what do you think the chances of survival would have been like in California or other states?
Well, let me just tell you this way. I have a lot of people from all over the United States come in, factory reps, and visit with us, because we have been fortunate to be a very successful business now for over 50 years. And as they visit with me and they look out the window and they see the traffic is not there, they see the smog's not there, they see the beautiful mountains and the wonderful Snake River, and they meet the people and they say, oh my gosh, only to have this. And I said, yes, and we're just about full.
I see your point.
And you know, Zeb, it's been a great blessing to raise a family in an area where you can be a God-fearing and a God-loving people and not be hassled by some of the things that we find in some of the larger cities.
Amen. Jack?
We are blessed.
Excuse me. Jack, your thoughts quickly.
I just like to say that we have got to keep our eyes up and our ears open, because the things that are creeping into states around us, like the medical marijuana and everything else, we have got to be sharp on trying to keep what we have today. And if we don't, we will pay the price down the road somewhere.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here on the Christmas show. And Fred, back over to you for a second, because you're going to be going to the legislative session in a matter of days, as a matter of fact. And what Jack said is really true. You know, the state of Colorado has opened up a can of worms that I think is going to be even more of a troublemaker to other states as they try to perhaps follow what Colorado did with the medical marijuana and the open sales of marijuana and that type of thing. How are we going to preserve some sanity and also a little better, higher class state, the state of Idaho, versus some of these other people like Coloradans that want to just see all the liberalness? How are we going to maintain a sense of betterment for our citizens?
Well, in the short term, it's going to be easier than the long term, because at this point in time, even a lot of Ada and Kenyon counties are still rural. And they still have the same value system that we have here. Now, in the long term, unless we take Keith's advice and say, we're full, we're going to fill up even more, and then it's going to be more difficult.
Right.
Because the lessons of our forefathers will be lost. The lessons of what keep us out of trouble will be lost. The lessons of how you lead a life, how you start a business, how you raise a family, how you educate a family, and impart the moral and ethical values to future generations are going to be lost. And that's what we've got to guard against. So in the short term, I think people can look at Colorado and look at Washington, et cetera, and say, we don't want to go there and we don't want to make those mistakes. But farther down the road, that is going to be more difficult.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to have people in the legislature like Representative Stevenson, et cetera, that maintain those values, and Bert certainly did. This is the guy that taught me most of what I know in the legislature, so I can tell you I had a good teacher.
Absolutely, well stated.
Everybody had a good teacher and a terrific man to do it.
Absolutely. And Bert Stevenson, you're very well liked. You know that, and very well respected for the job you've done for our great state.
Seb, I've been really blessed to live in a community here. And with the values that Fred just talked about, I'm fortunate enough that my family is able to stay here. And it's, I don't know how to thank our Heavenly Father for the blessings that I've received throughout my life, and to associate with these people. I wished I had the abilities that Fred has to stand up and do things in the legislature that he's able to do. He understands medicine. He understands what happens at the hospitals, and we don't. Thanks, Zeb, and thank you for your friendship. I appreciate that.
Very, very welcome. I'm honored to have you gentlemen here in the studio this morning. We're going to get ready to send it back over to our main studios, but Keith, I'd be honored if you have about a 2-minute and 35-second song would be perfect, if you could, please.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
Absolutely beautiful. Keith Ramsey, of course, singing many of our Christmas carols here this morning. Zeb at the Ranch Open House. And before we go to the break at our main studio, I want to remind you about our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. Nick and Eli, two very good guys, and they've got a 2012 Bobcat S650 with a cab, air conditioner, heat controls, everything, and of course an 80-inch Bobcat heavy-duty bucket. It's on sale now, only 215 hours of work, and they're ready to sell it to you. Check it out today at Berry Equipment and Rental, and they're located at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls and in Burley at 159 West Highway 30. You just take a look at all the great equipment and check out the great guys. Call Eli at 732-7368 or Nick at 678-7368. It's Berry Equipment and Rental. We're going to send it back over to our main studios right now for about 3 minutes. We'll be back with much more. Don't go away.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, thank you very much. Welcome back. And it's been a real honor for Deanne and I to have everybody stop in this morning on our Christmas open house. God bless all of you and Merry Christmas. And speaking of Merry Christmas wishes, don't forget again the UPS store at 322 East Main Street in Burley. Number to call 678-0127. Now, they might be close to Christmas right now for printing all your customized greeting cards, invitations, calendars, newsletters, but stop in. They're there all year long, serving you with all their little elves, getting things ready right now for Christmas with the shipping of your gifts, but also for all your print needs. You stop in and see them today. The UPS store, 322 East Main Street in Burley. Really nice people. Well, lo and behold, look who we've got here from the Fish and Game.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, Santa Claus himself with his reindeer double parked on Highway 30. Good morning, Kelton Hatch. How are you?
But they do have tags in their ears.
They do have tags. They do have tags in their ears. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Zeb?
Weren't you just here a couple of days ago?
I was, but my boss says, hey, get over there and support. So I says, okay.
I appreciate that.
Your wife's a heck of a cook. I'm not going to miss out.
That's what he came to support.
Yeah, you know, all the food, the cinnamon roll. I don't even know what's all out there. I haven't been out in that kitchen.
There's not much left.
Not much left.
You guys had me out there. You had a power-packed program here going, and so I sat out there and grazed a bit.
And as big as you are, grazing is not an option. It's full-fledged devouring.
Yeah, I'm not a, you know, it takes a few calories to keep me going.
Let me ask you a question here. It's, Christmas times, you were born and raised over in the Preston area, right?
No.
Soda Springs area.
Soda Springs.
Soda Springs area. Give us some of your Christmas traditions that maybe you're carrying on with your family.
You know, I was just, we've been over on that ranch for about 120 years. And I've actually got family from my grandmother was from the Burley Rupert area. She's an Onslager, Lee, and Fortune was her background over here. But
I see.
You know, some of the traditions we have is, for as long as I can remember, we've gone up and cut our own trees, take a little picnic up there with us, have hot chocolate, sleigh ride, and have a good time just right after Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And then the big thing is Christmas Eve is probably one of our bigger traditions. Is we'll sit down and we have to watch You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. You know the Christmas story.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll read the birth of Christ.
That's wonderful.
And then before we send the kids, and then we always do the. Mom started this tradition there. You had to open a brand new set of pajamas that night.
A brand new set of pajamas?
Well, yeah, you look good for the pictures the next morning.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you get.
Did you have the ones like in the Christmas story with the little pink ears and the footsies and everything?
No.
Oh, okay.
We save those for our city cousins.
That's
give us targets.
That's the commercialized versions.
Give you
with the back doors open.
Yeah. No, we that's when we got our union. You know, usually your union pajamas is similar to that.
Yeah.
They were warm, and so.
Well, we had a lot of things that we did at Christmas time. One thing that we always did on Christmas Eve is went up to my mother's parents, my grandma and grandpa Richter. And I don't know why it became such a custom, but we had to have oyster stew.
Whoa.
Every Christmas Eve. I will not to this day touch an oyster.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, no, I used to stock that little bowl up with all the crackers, you know, the oyster crackers and everything, and put in a little cheese. And if I did happen when I scooped it to get an oyster in there, I'd always leave about a quarter of an inch to a half an inch of stew on the bottom so it would hide the oyster and my dad wouldn't yell at me to eat it. And then we always had to have baked beans and homemade banana bread. That was the meal for Christmas Eve.
Huh.
And it was really good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, traditions, that's the fun part. I was talking to my kids the other day. I mean, one of the funnest things we did is we always my grandfather had an old half-draft Duke, and he'd get like 6 kids on the big toboggan and drag us all around. All that, you know, on Christmas Day and go out and play. And it's, you know, lots of food and...
We ate good on Christmas Eve, and then we get up on Christmas morning and go to church, and then we sometimes open our packages before we went to church, sometimes as we got older after church. But and then all the neighbors used to come up. This is interesting, because at exactly 11 o'clock Christmas morning, like clockwork, every one of the neighbors around my dad's farm would stop over, come in the house, and have one glass of wine.
Oh.
One glass of wine. And then they go home or they go to church with their family or whatever. But it became a tradition that about 15, 16 families, the husband only, would come in and have a glass of wine, and then they'd go off and go to church. Huh.
That's good. Yeah, it's cool. Get out and visit your... Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Different attitude. Anyway.
That's true.
Keith, how about another song for us real quick? What have you got that's...
I've got one for the end.
One for the end.
Yeah.
You know what I think I'll do is we've got a weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Do you remember the poem that I've done every year for about the last 6 years called The Last Christmas Ride?
Please.
Do you mind if I do that?
Please.
And Kelton, being an old cowboy, he can relate to this.
Yes.
I wrote this about 7 or 8 years ago and use it only at Christmas time, so here we go. The old cowboy pulled on his weathered boots and tugged at his hat. He grabbed an old bulky grain sack and gave his horse a pat. The wind was a-howlin' and the snow was fallin' fast. He knew he'd better get started 'cause this Christmas would be his last. The doctors in the city had given him all the bad news. He had the villain cancer. It was bad, according to their views. But ride he would one last time to spread some Christmas cheer. The crunch of the snow, the cold of the night. He loved this time of year. He'd leave his gifts on ranch house porches and silently retreat. And just before stepping in the saddle, he fed old Gray a carrot to eat. 2 more ranches to spread some joy on this cold Christmas Eve. Boy, he sure was going to miss playing Santa as he wiped a tear on his sleeve. They trudged along in the winter storm when all at once, a flash of light. "Whoa!" he yelled as old Gray bogged his head and tried to run in fright. 3 angels sat on a horseback, on steeds just as white as snow. They told the old cowboy, "Follow us." He knew then it was his time to go. The old cowboy felt at ease as he touched a spur to old Gray's flanks. "I know it, Lord. I appreciate the good times," and he closed his eyes with thanks. But lo, the angels stopped and dropped their reins and looked him in the eyes. "You'll not ride with us at this time," he heard to his surprise. "Go and spread the Christmas cheer for many years to come. Good folks like you are hard to find." The old cowboy felt numb. He watched them as he rode past the star and around the Milky Way. What wonders had he seen tonight, on the eve of the world's greatest day? He shifted in the saddle and suddenly realized there was no more pain. The Lord had gifted him with healing. His joyous tears felt like rain. And every Christmas Eve for years, the old cowboy would ride for others' joy and thank the Lord in heaven for sending Jesus, his wonderful little boy.
What a wonderful story. Well done.
Appreciate that. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Okay, that choked me up. I got to get a copy of that.
Well, I tell you, Kilt Man, you're supposed to be here.
Well, sorry, some people have to work for a living.
That's why I'm so blessed. I can get away with calling this my life's work.
Yeah, no kidding. I wish I could have made it, but things just don't necessarily work out the way we want them.
No, I can understand that, but God bless you and Merry Christmas to you.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, and that's the whole reason I called in. Everybody in the area and that, we've got a great land that we have to live in. Count your blessings, because we are blessed. And
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
You know, this gentleman that's on the phone with me right now, I call him Kilt Man, and he's absolutely one of the nicest people I've ever had the chance to meet. He and his lovely wife, you know you're welcome here anytime, every time, and Merry Christmas wishes right back at you. God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Nice people, Keith. Really nice people.
Isn't it great to be surrounded by such great, sweet, loving, and endearing people?
Absolutely. We did get an email, or not an email, but a little text from Gina when we were talking about oyster stew. She said simply, "Oyster stew, gross." She evidently doesn't like it. What about you, Kelton? Any final thoughts about Christmas as we get ready to wrap things up? You got all your shopping done and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can tell.
Yeah. Today I'll have her done this afternoon. But, you know, I just want people to get out and enjoy the season, regardless of what you have in possessions, if you got your family or and other things like that, or if you're just around here, you're really blessed. Just enjoy the season. And if, try to do something nice for somebody else.
There's quite a few people, literally millions, that are doing something for us every day, and I don't think we give them enough tribute. I'll have both of you respond to this. Our military, God bless them for all that they do to keep us safe and secure during these times of family get-togethers, and especially during the Christmas season.
That is also true. As I had an opportunity to serve in the LDS mission in Germany, I was there for 2 Christmases, and that is one thing that I did notice when I was among the German people. There were a lot of Americans. There were over 1 million Americans in southern Germany at the time because of the Vietnam War.
Wow.
And it was interesting of the tradition that they had and that they kept with them even though they were out of the country. And you could sure tell that they were Americans because they were God-fearing and God-loving people.
You know, and Kelton, I'm sure you feel the same way I do, that while we're having time with our family, there's always those soldiers that are either kneeling in a foxhole or perhaps standing behind a tank, but all of them, our Christmas wishes go out to each and every soldier in our military.
Most definitely. You can't thank them or the boys in blue that protect us, just our local police officers. And
our firemen.
And our firemen. Every one of these guys work on Christmases and Sundays, and the military are pulled away from their families, and they all do us a great service. And if we can do just as much for our neighbors, it'd be a much better place to live.
Tomorrow on the program, gentlemen, we're going to do something a little different. I'm just going to get on the phone tomorrow, and I'm just going to call various people at random. They don't even know they're going to get a call. And we're going to call some of our past guests that we've had on the show. We're going to call some of my old college buddies that I haven't heard from or talked to in over 40 years.
You better be careful.
Yeah, I'm going to be really careful. But we're going to just make it kind of just a call fest to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and see what they're doing with their family. I think it'd be kind of interesting to talk to some of these guests away from perhaps their subject matter and just say Merry Christmas.
That's wonderful.
It'll be an awesome show.
It'll be a good show. On behalf of my house to yours and the Fish and Game, Kelton, God bless you, and thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate all that you do for us and helping promote the word of watching out for wildlife.
Now it's going to be kind of interesting because you can step out in the other room and grab another plate of eats and sit there and visit with Jack. You two ought to really have a good conversation.
We do. I get a kick out of all those men. They all do so much for wildlife in Idaho, and it's just great to be able to work with them.
All right, God bless you, and thank you very much for coming by. And tell Jerome and the rest of the crew they're welcome here anytime.
Will do. Hey, Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Christmas. Thank you very much, Kelton Hatch, with the Idaho Fish and Game. We're going to have more, another tune with Keith Ramsey, etc., but right now it's time for a quick weather update. Here's Michael Rogers Weather.
Hey, yo, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got good news and I got bad news. What do you want first? One's good news. No problem. Here we are in winter. The good news is about winter, number one, we continue to gain daylight all the way to June 21st. When we get there, the Magic Valley will get about 14 hours and change, but we're not there yet. The other good news is that we got about close to about 86 days before spring. Spring will take place on March 20th. Now, what's the bad news? I don't have any. I thought I'd share some good news with you. So there you go. Cloud today, 42 for the high, right around 27, 28 for the overnight low, and enjoy the holidays and enjoy the weather. What do you got?
Thank you, Michael. Always appreciate you taking the time to be on our program as our weatherman, MichaelRogersWeather.com. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. I just wanted to call and wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and remember the reason for the season, and I really have enjoyed your program today, and that poem you read was wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. This lady on the phone with us happens to be Lorna Arbogast, and Lorna was one of the tough cookies that came out the other night and went on our hayride singing Christmas carols. God bless you, Lorna. Have you thawed out yet?
Well, just about, but it was a wonderful evening. I really just enjoyed that a lot.
Well, we hope to do it again next year, but we're going to put our weather order in a little earlier for maybe not less than 30 degrees. And all in all, though, it was a lot of fun, and I want to say thank you to everybody involved. But you were there always. You're helping us on this show. God bless you, and a very Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you. I wish I was there with you today, but it just didn't work out. So.
Well, that doesn't mean you can't stop in other days. We always look forward to your visit. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, okay?
Oh, thank you, too, so much, and Merry Christmas.
God bless you, Lorna. Merry Christmas to you. What a nice lady right there. She was there all bundled up. We all were bundled up. It was a little bit more than chilly.
We were bundled up.
Yeah. You and I sat back towards the back end of the wagon, and it was kind of fun to drive along, and Kenny Moore had that sound system, and we want to say thanks to Kenny.
That was so nice. That really was nice to be heard.
Well, you take Kenny, and his little kids were there.
Oh, my gosh.
What were they, about 3 or 24 years old?
Yeah, for the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
too. They didn't give up, even though it was cold. They were all bundled up and stayed right to the end.
You know, what have you got for us for a song? What do you want to sing here at the end? Silent Night as usual?
I do, and I want to say a couple of things. We talk about family tradition and so forth. It's interesting how we build tradition. Tradition is one of those things that just happens over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank a friend of yours and of mine because she began a Christmas tradition a few years ago about always bringing us a plate of divinity.
Oh, that wonderful lady.
Dorothy Silcock.
Yes.
She is such a sweetheart and has always been there every time we have the open house there at Ramsey Heating and Electric. She's always so thoughtful. So hats off to Dorothy.
And may I interrupt you and say, Dorothy, God bless you. The divinity was great. It was great.
I made sure it was great.
Thank you very much.
Number two, I would like to just put a little shout out to my mother. Bless her sweetheart. She can't see much anymore and gets out limited and has always been just such a love and support to me as I have sung my whole life. And she came out and bared the cold here a week ago as we sang a Christmas program. And, I think of her family and the great asset they were to Cassia County and how she was one among 13 children out in Malta for so many years and how her father and the neighbor owned the first two vehicles in Malta, and you can guess what happened at the only stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
They wrecked.
Oh, my. Really?
They did, but hats off to my mother and to the family traditions that we have had and have kept for so many years. And last and surely not least, but my sweetheart, we share 11 children, 31 grandkids.
Oh, my.
And it's been a great first ride, and we'll be together forever.
Oh, I tell you what, she's a wonderful lady. And she braved that cold the other night, all bundled up with almost near pneumonia conditions, and she was sick and not feeling well, but she's such a trooper. And while you're saying thank you to your wife, would you allow me to also say thanks to mine? My beautiful wife in the other room. Nobody knows how much she has to go through and what she does for me on this program and all the assistance and everything she provides for me. And I just want to say Merry Christmas. I love her dearly. I love her dearly. I got to straighten up and do a commercial here before I turn it back over to you. Don't forget our friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And we have the very best of all the winter traction tires at your Magic Valley Les Schwab headquarters. Don't forget all the winter traction tires, all the tires that are pinned for studs, all that you need for safe wintertime driving, and the people that really understand and know driving too. They've got the best in batteries, the best in snow chains, the best in brake value promises, the very best in front end alignment, shocks and struts, all of this and much, much more. But the key word is service. They're always taking care of you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Keith, my dear friend, it's been a wonderful program. Thanks to you and all the other people that have been here this morning, but you especially. You've been here since we started this program many, many years ago. And would you share with us right now our final song for this morning on this Christmas show?
I will. First of all, I would like to say thanks from the Mid-Cache area to Zeb Bell and Deanne for all that you've been to the community and for all that you provide for us and give us a voice of reason and of sanity in this world that seems to be ever troubling.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly
peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
You know, if you had one more verse of that song, it would be just perfect for me. It's so beautiful. Please, if you would.
Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight. Glory streams from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
What a gift. Bert Stevenson, and of course my dear friend Representative Fred Wood, God bless you for being here. Jack Euler, final thoughts this morning on our Christmas show. Just grab that microphone, and I've been blessed. I've been blessed. Deanne and I couldn't be happier. But you know, there's one person I want to get on here quickly. If you can coax her in here, I want to say Merry Christmas to them.
One thing I'd like to say while she's coming, and that is everybody say a prayer for Zeb. And his upcoming trials, or whatever you want to call them. But Zeb needs all our help, all our prayers, and it's a good time of year to give a prayer for Zeb Bell.
Oh, thank you, Jack. Thank you. Keith, I'm going to let you handle this because right now I'm speechless. Go ahead, if you would. Deanne, my lovely wife.
I would like to introduce to you the next to the most beautiful girl in the world. I'm sorry I got the most, but she's next. Deanne.
Thanks, honey. Go ahead.
Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and thank you, Jack, for making me cry. And we've had a wonderful morning. Thank you for everybody that came out. It was a lot of fun. But I'm not doing any more baking until next year.
God bless you. God bless you, dear. Thanks. I think the only thing I can say right now is, Keith, Jack, God bless both of you for being here. And everybody that was on our Christmas show this morning, a little tears, lot of happiness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zeb. This has been a great opportunity to share with the Mini-Cassia area the love and the compassion that we have for this great country that we live in, and for the opportunity to share a little bit of cheer among ourselves.
God bless both of you guys. Thank you so much. And everybody that was on our annual Christmas open house, thank you so much. The very best to you and your families. Tomorrow, as I said, we're going to have kind of a surprise call and wish Merry Christmas to people all around the United States. Until tomorrow morning at 8:06, God bless you. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas. Gina Jameson over at our main studios, God bless you so much. Thank you.